I'm like 3 weeks older than Rory McIlroy. It's like my dad would probably prefer if I were Rory McIlroy.
Yeah. Foreplay, presented by Barstool Sports, brought to you by Chevy, the Chevy Silverado EV, the most valuable truck for Barstool Sports, not just the Foreplay podcast. We love that thing. We're in the middle of Barstool Classic season. We had 2 already this week. When this podcast comes out, we have a 3rd one this week in San Diego. Big shout out to Max Homa, Colton Oast, who showed up, played yesterday. We had Jay Feely qualified. He played on the first day. We've had a bunch of big names. Johnny Manziel was a no-show for the event yesterday, which is right in line with
so on brand.
When he did a podcast with Casey Smith for years and years, he would kind of no-show the podcast all the time. So he no-showed this, which by all accounts, Johnny Manziel is a bit of a late-night guy. We had an 8 a.m. shotgun. The whole crew there that knows him told me there's a very unlikely chance that he shows up, and he didn't show up. So I get it. 8 a.m. shotgun, not necessarily for non-morning people, and he's not a morning person. So hopefully he shows up to the next one. But Max Homa, Colton knows, great time yesterday. On that front, we have a huge video that just came out, so we're going to talk about that. YouTube, we want people to go there. But I'm going to begin by just saying that I would like to thank everyone on the internet for how fucking stupid they are, that bitch about handicaps. And this happens every time. We're 5 years into this thing, but I'm just so impressed at how people can fire off comments and then have absolutely no clue what they're talking about. And actually, when I read the internet and what people write on the internet, it makes me feel so impressive. It makes me as a person feel like I'm so infinitely smarter than these fucking idiots out there that have no clue what goes on and then just levy missile after missile. And the latest example of this whole thing, and again, we're 5 years into this fucking thing, 5 years into the Barstool Classic. People still don't get it. And what they do is they get so rattled every time they see scores get posted, and the scores are low because we post the winners. So yesterday we had the winning score. I believe they were 14 under that won the whole thing. The day before, I think it was 13 under that won the whole thing. And they go, no fucking way, a 6 handicap, go out and they shoot 15 under and that somebody shot a 67 and a 70. They're not a 6 handicap. Here's what happens. People don't fucking understand. You can clip this. You can put this out, Alex Bush. People don't fucking pay attention to how we actually do it. How we do it is this. Max Homa is a +9 handicap. In order for Max Homa to play in the event and have a chance to win, just like Kevin Kisner did 2 years in a row, we won 1 year. The last year we did not play particularly well. We did not qualify. But in order for anyone to be able to play, it's anybody's tournament, we take the lowest handicap in the field. And so that person doesn't have to give shots back, which would mean Max Homa on 9 fucking holes would have to make a par net bogey. We don't want to do that. Obviously, that's incredibly stupid. So what we do, we shift the entire field off the lowest number in the field. So anytime that we have a field where the scores are incredibly low, it's very, very, very likely that we happen to have a player that field that's a very low handicap. Max Homa's a +9. We might have a +5. We might have a +6. We move everybody to 0. So what happened there is these guys that won the tournament yesterday, who played lights out by all accounts. We talked to their playing partners. One of their playing partners, actually, pardon my cheesesteak guy, who works for that vendor and company that we partnered with. Great guy. These guys are fucking holing out from everywhere. They hold out from off the green like 2 or 3 times. They're going nuts. Colton Max actually pointed to that group during one of the days. It was like, that group's having a blast. I don't know what's going on over there, but they're loud as hell because they're holing out all day. They're both 1 handicaps, okay? So, of course, handicap. They're about a 1.2, I think, both of them handicaps. They go to a course 2. Max Homa is a fucking +9, so they'd be getting 11. We play 50% handicap. 50% of 11 is 5.5. We round up 6. They both got 6 shots. That's how it works. Everyone on the internet, it's like, there's no way these 6 handicaps both shot around even par or whatever. No. They're not 6 handicaps. They're getting 6 shots. And then the other comment that everybody follows up with is, this is why you never play at a handicap event. What a joke. Good players have absolutely no chance whatsoever. Year 5, we've had 4 champions up to this point. 3 of those teams out of the 4, both players were a 1 handicap or lower. So this whole mantra, people were fucking bitching and lobbing a comment about handicap events are a joke. This is why this tournament's a joke. Look how low everybody's going. You're just fucking wrong. You're an idiot, wrong person that has no fucking clue what you're talking about. You're just wrong. We're right. You're wrong. Our team puts enormous effort into scouting every fucking handicap to the point where anytime someone's looks a little bit sketchy or it's changed dramatically or has an asterisk next to it on the Gen app, which happens, we look into it. We reach out to fucking club pros where these guys play and ask about their handicaps and try to get it as right as we can. Most people that play in it understand this. However, a lot of people that, again, lobby all the fucking assaults and bitch about the tournament and go nuts online and call everybody a sandbagger have absolutely no clue how it works. And to give another example that I'll finish it off with, if me and Frankie played in a best ball event, let's say we're playing with no strokes. Frankie and me are both about 5 handicaps. We're around that number. If we played a best ball match or a best ball round of golf, me and Frankie, we would most likely shoot around even par. We'd probably make a handful of bogeys. We'd probably make a handful of birdies, maybe make 2 or 3 bogeys. But we would, if we just played best ball, and we go through a lot of videos, we'd probably post the score around even par. So now if you took our course handicaps, where we would be probably a 6 or so at Mesa, we'd instantly be 4, 5, 6 shots better than that. So now we're automatically 4, 5, 6 under, and we just played okay. We just posted a round of gross best ball, even par, because the strokes now are 5. You take 50% of that. Now we're around 3 or 4 under, and we played okay. Now you add the fucking 5 or 6 shots that we get from Max Homa. Now me and Frankie, again, without playing particularly great, are already 8 or 9 under par. And then out of 54 teams, guess what? If you win an event out of 54 teams, you have to play really fucking well. So when people go like, I can't believe it, I'm looking at this, these guys, there's no way this handicap posted that score. Guess what? They played really fucking well. When you win a golf tournament out of 108 golfers to beat 106 players, you got to play unbelievably fucking well. That's how it works. And so then if you take this example of me and Frankie, and here we are, we had a very mediocre round because of the stroke situation. We're already at, let's call it between 5 and 8 under par. Now if me and Frankie play incredibly well, we hole out a couple times, we make an eagle when we don't usually. Now we're at 11 or so under, and we qualify for the fucking championship. That's just how it fucking works. And so anybody that calls us, it's only a sandbagger central. We had one team, 1 year out of 4 so far, that had handicaps above a 1 that won the event. And that was COVID year when John Kochka and John Bray, both of them, went from having to work 9 to 5 all day, every day, to, because everybody's working from home, they got to play a bunch of golf, played more golf than they ever had. We looked at their handicap history throughout the whole year. They went from at the beginning of the year higher, and as the year went on, they got lower handicaps, played incredibly well, won in the gross format of the playoff on the Cradle, and won the whole thing. But 3 out of our 4 teams that have ever won it are 1 handicaps or lower. So yes, having a higher handicap, you might have a chance in this. You might have if you play incredibly well, you're going to get some strokes. But at the end of the day, the best teams fucking win our event. They always have. They always will. And anyone that fucking tries to call it like a sandbagger central or that we don't care, that it infuriates me, because the amount of texts and emails that we go back and forth with our team, Mancini, Lisa, the whole crew that just grinds over handicaps, thousands of handicaps a year, to make sure that we do everything we can to not let people like cheat their way to winning the tournament. That's a disservice to them when people just bitch and lobby fucking assaults, this, that, all over the place. The right teams that play the best fucking win. They always have in our event, and they always will. And the only people that bitch about it just have no idea how we do the handicap system, and that drives me fucking nuts. So that's my rant.
In your face, Twitter guys.
You know, we've been a part of the Chevy EV family. We've got big news. The first ever all-electric Silverado is the official Barstool Sports most valuable truck. We got the chance to see this puppy, to drive it, to experience it. It's a game changer. It's a game changer. I don't know how you take such an iconic vehicle that's, you know, manly, strength, badass, history, really builds a brand in the bow tie and supplant Chevy as this badass American car manufacturer, and then make it an EV. How you imagine how difficult that would be? You know how many of our brains, I talked on the show about how stupid people are. You know how many of our brains we would need to get even close to doing something like that?
It's an incredible feat. It's an amazing company. I've been talking about this for 2 months, but my lease is coming up, and it's fast approaching.
I've been ignoring emails.
I've been ignoring. I mean, it's coming up within 4 or 5 days.
I've been picking you up, taking you to the golf course because you're about to hit your mileage.
Yeah, no. So it's
Is that right?
We're
Is that actually
really
happening?
Oh yeah, that happened. We're right
That's
there.
beautiful. That's so good.
We're at the fucking finish line here, fellas. So Chevy, my fiance, we have like 2 days off coming up, and she's like, "You want to go to?" She literally said, "Do you want to go to Chevy tomorrow? Like, I have a day off of work. Do you want to go to?" We're going to Chevy to look at cars tomorrow. We're going to Chevrolet.
Let's go.
Bayshore, and we're going to look at some cars. Like, that's actually happening. So it's an ad read until it's not. Until it's just like my life. Like, I'm actually going to spend my next 3 years in a Chevrolet. So that's like really what's happening.
Go on over, reminder to Chevy.com to learn more. Check out the, obviously we love the Silverado, but they got all kinds of great choices on there. You can get now, you can pre-order the Silverado EV. It's got the full 17-inch diagonal display screen, can tow up to 10,000 pounds of max towing. Conversely, on my lease situation, I'm also in a 3-year lease. I'm in my 3rd year. I believe I did 10,000 miles per year, and I'm at like 11,000 total.
I was going to say, you can't have used that almost at all.
Literally, I think I'm maybe encroaching on 12,000. And I did a few trips. I drove here and back to San Diego for the U.S. Open a couple years ago. I drove here and back to L.A. when we did a commercial shoot. So those right there, like, put a good amount of that 11 or 12,000 total on it. I just never used that bad boy. So I'm the exact opposite. I'm like trying to get my miles up. Anyways, go on over to Chevy.com. Check out their website to learn more about the EV game.
I've got something to say.
Okay.
Let's fucking go Islanders. We fucking came back. We had a backs against the wall hockey game. We were at Borelli's. Laredo doesn't even know what the fuck's going on. And we won that game in Carolina. We're bringing it home to UBS Arena for a chance to push to Game 7. Why would it be anything else than that, boys? Why would it be easy for the New York Never Say Islanders? They were never going to roll over and die. They should have won Game 2. They blew a lead with 7 minutes left. The pucks went off fucking Sorokin's head. Brock Nelson should have had the game winner that night. They should be up 3-2 in this series. So everyone that's saying that they shouldn't even be in this series can suck my fucking pee-pee. And at the end of the day, we're going to fucking push this thing to 7, and whatever happens in Game 7 happens. And I'm sorry that you have to deal with the handicap police because they're the worst creatures on the internet. They don't understand the way it works. They don't get it. They don't understand. You do understand. You know what else I understand? That the people that bought the PGA Championship merchandise, I fucking love you. We hate the handicap police, but we love everybody that supports the brand. We've sold out. I mean, this podcast is coming out on Thursday. We've sold out of like more than half the shit for the PGA Championship. And when the fuck is the PGA Championship? Is it next month? When is the PGA Championship?
It's next month. It's a good
It's in May.
4 weeks away.
It's in 4 weeks, and we've already sold out of hats, hoodies, T-shirts. This was day 1 that we're talking about this right now. This thing's it's not even shipping for another 2 weeks, this merchandise.
I think
it's
we're
crazy.
22 days away from balls in the air.
22 days away before a ball goes in the air, and we've already sold out. This is insane. So if you're listening to this, go to the website. If there's anything left, you have to grab it. It's a once-in-a-lifetime, one-of-one collaboration. The PGA Championship with Oak Hill, the logoing is unbelievable. The material is great.
They do such a good job with the logo. The Bethpage one was amazing. That was like the first major we really went all in on. That was when Frankie was hitting shots, and he's disappeared from this. I'm sure he'll rejoin. That was when Frankie was hitting shots with Bryson DeChambeau, and they had the Bethpage logo, the little like caddy boy that they have there, and then the Southern Hills one last year with the lighthouse. Or the tower, or I guess it's not a lighthouse. Is it a windmill? I don't know what it is, but they had that. And then you get the Oak Hill one this year with the acorn. They just do a phenomenal job with the PGA Championship logo. So putting that with our stuff, this might be the coolest stuff we've ever done from a merchandise standpoint.
Yeah, it's very clean. It's one of those. We keep doing these things: video game, merch at PGA Tour events, PGA Championship, who knows where we're going next, where you run out of adjectives to describe like what's going on. And people sometimes are like, you guys say like this is crazy every time. And that's because that it is. Like, I want to be clear about that part of it, where we have now co-branded merch with the major championship. That was just never, when we started this thing, it was never an idea. We just wanted to survive and like make golf content. And then, you know, we've hit these different points where it's just getting crazier and crazier. So it's I'll never lose that part of it, where when we do something that's legitimately cool, and this is legitimately cool, this is a major championship that we have co-branded merch with. I'm just very, very excited. I'm very excited that so many people bought it and how many people bought it so fast. The whole thing is just very cool, man.
Store.barstoolsports.com. It's the only place to get it. So I know there have been a lot of questions. it's event to event. It's different working with the PGA Tour versus the PGA of America versus, when we partner with Peter Millar or Unreal or whomever. It's always a little bit different. This situation is exclusively online on our website. So you got to go to store.barstoolsports.com. No, this will not be available in the tent at the PGA Championship. But if you order by May 4th, I believe I was told, we are guaranteeing delivery by May 12th. And the event starts on the 18th is the first tournament round, May 18th. So I guess that would mean May 15th is the first practice round. So if you want to go to the event, you're all excited, maybe you're packing for your trip, order by May 4th. You're guaranteed, apparently. I'm not going to put a rigs guarantee on it, but I'm going to tell you our merchandise team is putting a guarantee that you will have it by May 12th, 2023. So order it, store.barstoolsports.com. We got hoodies, we got Q-zips, polos, hats, T-shirts. Amazing stuff in there. And shout out to Quinn, Alex, Allison, Pilar, our merchandise team. Just did an, unbelievable. We tried to ban that word. This is the best case to use it. Unbelievable job whipping this stuff up, partnering with the PGA. And you can go get it online. You can order it right to your fucking place of residence. It's great.
That's our wheelhouse. Up until this point, we've done a lot of, with PGA Tour events, we've done in the tent, where people can go to the event and buy stuff. If you want to sell merch online, we are the guys to do it. We know how to sell merch online. It's great when it's in the tent. I love seeing it sort of get picked down and picked down and picked down. I watched it happen to the Zurich this last weekend. But boy, if you want to talk about putting a lighter into a gallon of gasoline to sell products, that's us. Like, we know it's consumer, it's right there, and we are seeing it bear out with this PGA Championship stuff because it is flying.
I think we're 100% at this point of selling out. Even at the Zurich Classic, they
You're
said
not in your mic.
Audio's
You're
tough.
not in your mic.
It's almost like it's like we're in another room listening to you.
Try it again.
Hold on.
Nope.
This is a guy who's got a game 6 coming up. And now he's disappeared. But yeah, it's cool, man. Again, shout out to the team.
Oh, he's gone again. He's always grinding with the, is there?
Well, this is the thing that people don't know. He's doing these streams at Borelli's, and then he takes that equipment that he's using right now in his beautiful studio room. He takes that to Borelli's. So then when Borelli's is done, he brings it all the way back to his home, and he's got to hook it all up again, and it doesn't always work.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah,
Perfect.
there it is.
It's a fucking joke. Like, I have everything perfectly set up, and then when you unplug it all, it's crazy what happens to this. It's like it's a person. It's like it's tired or something. It should always just work the same way, no matter how many times you unplug it and plug it back in. I was going to say we're basically 100% for this when it comes to selling out at these events. This is a trial run this year. It's like PGA Tour and now the majors being like, will it work? Does your fan base want to buy this stuff? And then we went there. We went to the Waste Management. We went to the Players Championship. We went to the Zurich Classic. We sold out of everything everywhere. I think there's only a couple hoodies left somewhere in New Orleans because it's 120 degrees in New Orleans. They said that they were just going to throw them away or just give them to people that were working the tent. But they basically sold out of everything at the Zurich. And now we've got the PGA Championship. I just got an update. We've sold out of 3 things already. We've only been live for 4 hours. That's insane. And now we have a lot more things ahead. I mean, I know that there's a PGA Tour Championship, right? The PGA Tour we're going to be doing maybe at the Tour Championship, maybe the FedEx.
Took you a while to get to Tour Championship.
Yeah. Well, the PGA Championship and now the PGA Tour Championship, the Tour Championship.
All right.
There's a lot going on. I'm looking at all of our hats. It just says PGA on it, so it was throwing me off. We're doing a lot of stuff with the PGA. I think we've made our alliance at this point. So yeah,
but
very fun.
I would argue that an alliance with the PGA Championship is like counterintuitive to that. Everyone says that part of it where it's like, oh, you're teaming up here and there, and like that's why PGA Championship majors are above all. All right, and we've made that. Everyone has made that clear. So now we're just PGA Championship guys too.
Yeah, we are. We love PGA of America. We like Seth Waugh. That what do you call him? A beautiful burnt cookie, golden brown cookie he's got with that look that he had during the COVID interview that we did. So yeah, I mean the PGA Championship at Bethpage Black will probably forever be known as one of our great launching pads where we just took our whole operation, we posted up on Long Island.
Marker Gate.
We had Marker Gate. Oh, we had
Bryson.
the Bryson video.
We did a video which we never really did again, where I don't know if they would even let us, if any governing body would let us, where we stood by the entrance where the players parked their cars and roasted people as they walked in.
That's where the Matty Fitz Frankie thing happened, right?
Yes.
Is that also where you were Patrick Reed's personal interviewer for
Nope.
like a couple of days?
That was at the U.S. Open at Wingfoot. That was U.S. Open at Wingfoot,
What?
where
Same state.
we
But we
became
did see-
Patrick Reed's personal PR channel,
That was
basically.
Dude, when we at Bethpage, that's when we watched Justine Reed walk directly across the putting green while everyone was putting. Like she paid them no mind because it was A to B. It was the fastest way to get there. She was dressed in all gold like Cersei Lannister. It was an amazing scene.
And that was right after Tiger won, so everyone was just buzzing, and it was just a magical time.
Totally. It was great. It was so great. So anyways, we have a great history of the PGA Championship. So for this to be the first major championship we've ever had, our logo, our brand combined with theirs, it's insanely cool. How could I forget about St. Louis 2018 too? The fans, when Tiger walked across that bridge afterwards, remember that? And then Brooks was like kind of coming up and he ended up stealing the show. But we love the PGA. It's been a great relationship. They obviously have Ryder Cup as well, and we like the Ryder Cup, so all kinds of good shit happening. I can't believe, Frankie, I cannot believe that the Hurricanes did not score in that last 2.5 minutes last night.
Oh.
It was, or yesterday after, it was, I had no skin in the game. We had been classic all day, so I hadn't gotten any wagers into the Barstool Sportsbook, which I like to do. I just flipped that puppy on with about 5 minutes left, and I was nervous beyond belief. I don't know how you survived. I don't know how your heart didn't burst out of your sternum, out of your chest, out of your rib cage, whatever it is. That was crazy.
I was just screaming survive. That's all they had to do was survive. They couldn't get the puck out. It's very frustrating. Obviously, these guys, they have their legs are in quicksand, essentially. They've been out there for 2 to 3 minutes. The defense is trying to hold the puck against the boards. As a viewer and as a fan, as a non-hockey player, as a non-athlete, as a NPC, a non-playable character, I am like screaming, saying like, just get it out. And you're just like, you're looking at the guy have full control of the puck, and you're like, just flutter that thing out of there. And he can't, because he's got guys rushing towards him. If he does that, it bounces off them, goes right in front of the net, and it's a scoring chance. You got to just minimize scoring chances. But they're just out of breath, and you're like, disaster's coming. You could feel it. You could sense it. And somehow, some way, they blocked enough shots. They grinded it out. Man, it's hard hat lunch pail hockey on the island. And that's just always what it's going to be. It's never going to be flashy. If they can push this thing to Game 7, I'm going to be fucking going crazy. I mean, they can beat this team, man. They can beat the Hurricanes. They can beat the Carolina Hurricanes.
I have a question about the hockey. So there was they stopped play to see if there was going to be a penalty in the end with like 50 seconds to go. So you're not allowed to purposely flick it above the boards.
In the defensive zone.
If they had called out a penalty, could they have kept the goalie out and had a 2-man advantage, or does your goalie have to? You can do that. Wow, yeah. So that would have been real trouble.
I have a hockey question as well. If we're doing a hockey Q&A, early on in the game, the Canes scored their first goal, and it got taken back because they were offsides. Do they review offsides on every single goal?
No.
You have to if you're
it's a coach's challenge.
Oh, that's cool. Because in soccer, they do it for every goal, and it's every single goal. There's like a 2-minute delay, and it's terrible.
No,
it's a relatively new rule too.
Yeah, Toronto, like that's where like the base, they always say they're shooting it to Toronto. They will actually call down for some sort of goals, whether it's like if it crossed over the line, they think that there was maybe goalie interference. You'll see the refs go over and check to make sure it's a goal without the refs having to do a challenge. But offside is a challenge. And if you're incorrect, it's a goal and a penalty.
Oh, wow.
So the team then,
that's cool.
So the team then who scored, because if you were watching on the stream, I looked at my dad and I go, it's onside and we're about to give up the lead. You know what I mean? Like not only is it tied, but they're about
what a genius rule. That's so smart.
But there's guys in the locker room. There's video coaches that's their full. I mean,
right.
Obviously, post game they have full-time jobs of like producing all the video for all the players, but they're actually sitting there every single zone entry. And they are marking times of when the puck went into the zone, and if the goal happens, they go right back to it and they check the entry within seconds, and then they're calling to the goal. You can see the coaches with their earpieces in, and they go challenge it, and it's all on him to be like, "Is that it? Are you sure?" And they say yes. And when it happens, I can't imagine the jubilation in that locker room amongst like the behind the scenes guys of he's like, fucking like we fucking did it.
Now I would love to talk to that guy, because when I watch hockey, I think onside, offside, 50-50. I think 50% of the time, even when they say that's onside, it feels like if you went back and really broke it down, which would take forever, I feel like there's a lot of offsides going on that gets passed as onside.
Well, in soccer, the rule is different, right? In hockey, the rule is the line. And the line, you can't be inside the zone before the puck is. But then after that, everybody's good. It doesn't matter where the other players on the other team are. Whereas in soccer, the line is determined by the last guy on obviously
you can't cherry
on
pick
the
in soccer
defensive team. And so it's different. And so the argument against the new offsides rule, which the new offsides rule allows you to review offsides all the way back to whenever the puck entered the zone, which it didn't used to be. It used to be the offsides was either called pretty instantly, or if it wasn't, then it's just over. And like, you can't really review it. And like, the play just goes on. If they don't call it right then and there within a second, it's over. Now you might enter the zone in a controversially offside state. You might stay in the zone for a minute and a half and then score, and they'll go back and review whenever you entered, which changes that because people forget about that. They're like, that was a fucking minute and a half ago.
That's what happened last night.
That's crazy. And it's infuriating when it occurs because it, at that point, doesn't really have anything to do with the current goal. Now, you could argue that, butterfly effect, they wouldn't have been in the zone. And the counter side, which I'm on a lot, is that the offsides is more about like the general like spirit of the play, right? So if it's 50-50, then let it go. If they didn't call it, who cares?
That's what soccer
it doesn't really affect like the play. If it was so close to the naked eye that it's 50-50, then who cares if it was a centimeter off or not? That doesn't actually affect the outcome. It's more just to make sure people don't cherry pick. And
I actually kind of love that about, and I'm probably wrong about this, but when I watch soccer, feels like the out of bounds is like spirit of the game. Like, guys can obviously step out, the ball can't really go out, but they're really playing around that line a lot. It feels like.
Yeah, but then soccer goes the other side, and they have the VAR where like your if you didn't cut your toenail the morning before, you're offside.
It's horrendous. They'll put like a guy's like literal hand offside, so then they try to change it to now it's like only the chest counts. So if the chest and someone's leg is stuck out, it's a complete mess, and it's not a challenge. So they review every single goal. It's almost like the one thing that's actually kind of decent about it is that the fans almost celebrate the goal twice because it's like when the goal goes in and then when the review accepts it.
I guess the best example would be like a strike zone where it's the spirit of it. It's every ump's kind of different. And then, if a guy strikes out, he's not going to challenge it and be like, but that first strike, I'm pretty sure wasn't a strike. And they don't do that.
Which is why I find the new offsides thing like generally infuriating because of that rule where it's like up to the interpretation as long as the play wasn't dramatically affected. If it's slightly offsides, it doesn't really matter. And then you get into now with the reviews of if the skate is in the air or not. Because you're not really, if you're like in the air, but you're not on the ice, or if it's one leg, you can like drag a leg. So it's sort of your back leg can still not be in before the puck. And then you're good. But then it's like, did you drag your leg and have it come off the ice? Almost like if you're sliding into a base. And so then it gets really hazy there. So
this year, I think they added that your foot can be in the air, right? They were saying it used to be that if your foot just fucking came off, they would actually zoom in.
So
on
do
that.
guys do like a dead leg where they like hold their leg back all the time?
Sick. I love that shit. Brock Nelson's a fucking god at that.
The Barstool Sportsbook is now offering a $1,000 bonus for new players. If your first bet loses, you get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. So download and create an account today. Use this code. That code is Fore, F-O-R-E, to unlock your $1,000 bonus. Be sure to use code Fore to unlock that $1,000 bonus. Barstool Sportsbook's fantastic. My team, St. Louis Blues, did not make it to the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's a dagger. It's devastating. It's a shame. Luckily, thanks to the Barstool Sportsbook, being here in Arizona, I fire that bad boy up. I pick a game usually based on Elio82 on Twitter, who we talk about it later in the show. He gives me a great pick. Mr. Rice, overs. Everybody gets behind it. Everybody gets excited. It hits. Huge thanks to my guy Elio, and a huge thanks to the Barstool Sportsbook. And I've been making some extra coin this month, fellas.
It's an amazing app. It's amazing. Get some skin in the game. It's really fun to be able to have some sort of cheering, the reason for cheering. And Elio definitely brings it to the table. He makes you all gassed up in the morning. He puts out his pick. He says Colorado over 6.5. You run to the Barstool Sportsbook. You put that in, and you're waiting all night for that West Coast game. You cannot wait for it to be 10 o'clock on the East Coast so that game starts. And then you start seeing his videos. 1, 2, 1 + 1 = 2, 2 + 2 = 4. And then we're going. So Barstool Sportsbook's amazing. And the people that are all pushing to it, Jersey, Jerry, Dave, Big Cat, all these guys, they just make it so much fun to be like a part of it. You feel like you're a part of something. And that's
especially when you bet
my
on the
part.
New York Islanders like I did last night.
Oh my
Being a real
God.
part of it.
I've been doing that too, and it's just
I'm not a big Islanders fan, but I am when I bet on them on the Barstool Sportsbook.
It's
so
much
my
fun. You're
God.
like everybody's watching Frankie watch these games with his dad.
I was
Stu
streaming it
Feiner.
while I watched the game.
Right,
That's
Stu
crazy.
Feiner's eating 15,000 calories before puck drop, and we're just like, I want to be involved in this, and the way to do it is just put a little money on the Islanders and have fun with it. It's really a good time.
I'm in on the for the cut bet this week. By the way, I feel really good about it. We got Taylor Pendrith, Aaron Rye, Carson Young, and Gary Woodland all to make the cut at the 2023 Mexico Open, boosted from +300, +375 exclusively on that Barstool Sportsbook. So do yourself a favor, going over there, use that code FORE. Terms apply, must be 21 plus. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Has a hockey team ever done the arena football thing? I don't know if you guys have ever seen arena football, but in arena football, a receiver can kind of play in
I used
the
to be a ball
background.
boy for the New York Dragons.
And what they would do is the receiver takes off and they time it up with the snap. So as soon as he snaps the ball, he's at full speed going across the line. Could you do people do that in hockey where you have a guy ripping around and everybody times it correctly, and then everyone else on defense is kind of caught flat-footed, and there's a guy going full speed, feed him the puck, boom, goal.
They kind of do it to a
just cracked the
degree
code,
now.
I think
They kind of do it to a degree now. And like Pavel Datsyuk and the Detroit Red Wings invented this like 15 years ago, where nobody used to do it this way. But if you notice on power plays, especially now, where one guy skates up the middle of the ice with the puck at like a decent speed, and then the best player, like the Oilers do this with Connor McDavid, will circle behind the net behind that guy and come flying up the middle of the ice, and they just drop the puck to him, and then he is going faster, and it makes it incredibly difficult for the defense because you want to try to clog things up at the blue line so the people get all fucking fucked up at the blue line and become offsides and stuff. But gap control is one of the most of a defenseman, that's probably the most important skill that they can have is gap control. And that whole point is that if you leave too much room between you and the forward, you're skating backwards, they're skating forward.
Right.
They're just going to go around you, or they're going to figure out where there's space to defeat you. So you try to stay as tight as you can to a guy without letting him go around you. And that's why those guys, those defensemen, are so valuable. We talk a lot about, people are just like, if they have Connor McDavid and you guys talking to us are like, and he's so fucking good, why don't they just win every game? It's because like a really good defenseman like that is so insanely valuable in hockey, and more so in the playoffs when goals aren't scored as much. But that's like a relatively new in the last 10 or 15 years move where guys do circle behind more often than they ever used to. And like the Russians used to do it a little bit, like Soviet USSR teams and shit. But now the NHL, it's much more prevalent with the best players, where you'll see they come ripping up the ice like behind the other guys, and they kind of just drop it to them, and it's really fucking hard to defend.
I think they go full arena football where don't even drop it to him, just let the guy get into the zone and then flick it to him, and he's already on a warpath.
They do that in soccer a lot. It's like an overlapping run where the outside back will run around and they try to time it. You're just trying to isolate the defenders 2-on-1.
Right.
It's great.
There's not enough room. I see what you're saying, Trent. Your question, I don't think you can't do it.
There's
the arena
enough
football
room.
thing.
There's enough room.
Yeah, because like
What,
if you shoot
room
it in,
capacity, wide or long?
Yeah.
Wide or
there's
long
not
room.
I'm saying like where would he like what? So like in your vision of this play, what would you think would happen?
Which is going to revolutionize hockey, I'm pretty sure.
So all right, so
I
now
love
so the offensive team has a face off in the defensive zone, right?
Yep.
And you're saying that the offensive team wins the face off, and you want a guy to just dead sprint towards the goal in the offensive zone. I don't think like he's not going to get behind the defenseman. It's like it's not like football.
It's not about getting behind them even. It's
Okay.
about catching them at a speed where they can't handle it. So you win the face off, and you got to be on opposite sides. I think you got a guy with the puck coming up the left side at a slowish pace. While this is
Overlapping run. He's talking about
while you have this
overlapping
going
run.
on, the other guy is just getting a head full of steam on the right side of the rink.
Yeah.
And as soon you got to time it up, and that's why you got to practice this. As soon as the guy with the puck is sort of going a little, he's not going that fast, but as soon as he crosses the blue line, that guy with the head full of steam has got to cross at the exact same time. And then the defensemen are like, whoa, what's going on? Feed that guy, goal.
Okay. All right. I'm having such a hard time visualizing it. I really am, but I love.
Okay. I think it could work.
Trent, you're essentially saying enter the zone at a normal speed, but have one guy entering the zone at lightning speed.
Yeah.
And you practice it. You have to practice so hard that you time those two things up so that the defensemen are really playing for the normal speed people. But once you cross the line, the lightning speed guy comes in and just blows it away.
But my counter to that isn't the guy that's bringing it in at normal speed allowing the defense to just get all 5 guys into their defensive zone, and then when this guy comes in like a wrecking ball, he's not going to have any like where what are you doing with the puck? Because the guy who carried the puck, how are you getting it to him? How are you getting it to him? You know what I mean? It's not like
he's putting the puck into the net.
Right. It's we've actually, Frankie, you and I recently been talking a lot about semi-pro. You know when they create the alley-oop in semi-pro and people are like,
foul.
what the fuck? Foul,
Two
two
fouls.
fouls. People don't know what's going on. It's similar to that. Now, it might not
can't feel my arms.
Like defenses are eventually going to adjust. They're like, oh shit, they're running the Trent AFL.
I need some of the listeners to like draw this out. Like I want someone to respond to like, don't make this a clip because it's going to make people want to fucking jump off a building. But I think people need to draw this out. I think they need to draw like with the X's and O's. I want to see it. I want the coaches. Shout out Bernie Cassell. He's an Islander skills coach. They used to come to Borelli's and Tage Thompson's dad, Brent Thompson, who's now the Bridgeport Islanders coach. They used to come to Borelli's and sit in the bar. And this is when I was a freak. I mean, I'm still a freak, but I would sit there and listen to them break down the games and talk about it. They were the Islanders assistant coaches like that behind the bench. It was amazing. And they would sit there on fucking napkins and draw out all the plays that they thought would work and wouldn't work. And I'd keep the napkins. I have the napkins at my parents' house. They're insane. Like X's and O's and lines and crossouts and question marks. So I need someone to do that for Trent's new play. And we'll call it like the Iowa special.
Yeah, I do. I think it has the chance to change hockey.
Yeah, the Trent AFL play.
Do you guys know what I'm talking about when I talk about arena football and that play?
Yeah, they're allowed to have motion this way.
Right. So when the receiver literally, if they're on the 50, he's running from the goal line on the other side, and just sprinting, and then and they practice it so that when
they definitely practice it.
Right, when the quarterback hikes it, he's working with the receiver, and the defender's like, "Oh fuck." Something to think about. Something for all NHL teams to think about.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's get into golf a little bit. You know, I got a question for Dan Rappaport. What's going on with this LIV in Australia situation last week? Was this like a big success? Because I'm seeing, am I being fed? Not misinformation is not the proper way. Are they funneling to me into the internet like a propaganda style version of LIV? Because from the things that I saw, it appeared like this LIV event in Adelaide, is that where it was? Adelaide, Australia, was a massive success, and that the local Aussies and everybody, the fans were crazy, that there was a lot of energy, that it seemed like a home run.
Yeah, from that perspective, it was. I wrote about this on my blog on BarstoolSports.com. I think it was more about Australian golf than LIV golf. Australia is a country with an incredible golf culture, as you guys know. You guys had an unreal trip there, where there just haven't really been big golf events in the last couple of years, and they've been clamoring for that ever since they had the President's Cup in 2019. And remember, that was an electric event also. The Australians love golf. It's a big golf country. For the PGA Tour to continuously not go there is like, it's almost malpractice at this point. So Australia is starving for a golf tournament. They get one. And there is a big Australian connection with LIV. Greg Norman is Australian. There's an Australian team. Cameron Smith, probably their marquee signing, is Australian. So if you were going to have a golf event in Australia with a bunch of good players, especially Australian players, people were going to come. And it looked like a lot of fun. It was a party. It was definitely a party. But here's the thing. Having a party does not mean that you're a successful sports league. If you have money to spend and you go to somewhere that hasn't had a party for a while and you throw a really good party, people are going to come. Does that make them any closer to overtaking the PGA Tour? No. And the other thing is, I don't think there are a lot of markets like Australia that are so starved for golf that will show up. Like this week they're in Singapore and no one's there.
Devil's advocate a little bit. I mean, I think it's a little bit it's a little like demeaning to LIV's efforts to be like, no, this wasn't necessarily a LIV success. This is just if anybody went to Australia, they'd have a great event. It takes vision, effort, hard work, all kinds of stuff to get to the point where you're putting on an event that has all kinds of energy, right? Like our one of our biggest negatives that we've dwelled on is that it seems to be kind of a joke at LIV. There don't really seem to be that many fans. There's not history. There's not prestige around it. They're just playing for the money. And now, yeah, they're still playing for a lot of money there. They brought their whole operation down to Australia, which is this golf-starved, golf-crazy place. And they got phenomenal fan interaction, engagement, showing that merchandise tent had people all around the line. Like, to me, you could argue that, oh yeah, but like they're doing it. It doesn't matter necessarily that like if the tour's not going there, that's like, well, guess what? The tour also didn't offer like a great alternative golf media option. So that's why Foreplay's fucking huge. That's not, but we also worked hard towards it. I think we have talent and skill, and we were creative, and that allowed it. And I think that you have to give LIV a pretty good amount of credit for how successful that event looked.
The event was a big success for sure. All I'm saying is, if they had all the events in Australia, the tour, it would probably look like that often. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, that's not, now they're going to Singapore, and I think it will go back to what it was before. But absolutely, the Australian event, if they did a tour in Australia, it would be a big success. That's just not going to make them enough money to offset. But again, if that's not the goal, and if they don't need to make a profit, they can definitely continue to have these events, because, if rich people throw good parties, like, and people are going to go.
Also, they've publicly, and we might argue about this, but they have never publicly been like, we're trying to replace and be a better version of the PGA Tour, right? They've been arguing since day one, we're trying to be a supplemental existence to the PGA Tour and the pro golf landscape. We're much more about the international presence and going to Australia and going to these different countries around the world. And so this would appear to me to be like a massive success in line with what they've kind of been saying.
I completely agree. This is by far their best event yet. It is by far the best sort of demo of what their model can be. And it is something different for sure. It's a different vibe out there. They're chugging beers out of shoes. It kind of looked like 16 at Waste Management. Maybe there is space in the golf for that. I'm not saying that there isn't. I'm just saying from a business perspective, I don't know that that's enough, but maybe I'm wrong. But no, if you don't think that event was a success, then you're just lying to yourself. Of course it was a success. It looked like it got a ton of attention in Australia. I'm just, they're still having, I think 8 of their 14 events are in the United States. If you're going to attract more high profile golfers to join the league, you have to be the pinnacle. They're not going to do it if they don't feel like they're playing against the best players. So can it exist as this sort of like, I don't want to say exhibition, but looser vibe? Yeah, it's possible. I just don't know that that's going to bring over great players and bring all the fan interest to offset the money. But then again, if they don't need to make money, it's fine.
But within the last couple of weeks, three of the top 6 finishers in the Masters were LIV golfers. So it's like, so for me at this point, it's like, okay, if I'm judging it at just on do they have not the best players, but close to the best players, and do they have a phenomenal event that feels like a big professional golf tournament? It's like, if they've got 3 of the top 6 that finished in the only major of the year so far, and they've got a pretty electric atmosphere down in a country where people love golf, like, that's pretty goddamn successful, I feel like.
For sure, this event was a big success. I'm just trying to look at it, contextualize it in the bigger picture. But you're right. This event was a smashing success.
Agree. I would say that the tell is going to be if it translates stateside. Like, say if you were like with the Barstool Classic, say if we did it this way where you run one event and it goes off like crazy, like that Australia event did, then you would think that, all right, now we can go bigger and we can blow this thing out and we can go to more locations. If we go to those new locations, is it going to be the same thing? I think I don't think it's going to translate. That would be my guess. And then you start to look at what are the reasons why it exploded. And I think the reasons are for what Dan said, where Australian golf, they don't get to see these big golfers all the time, so they're going to show out for when big golfers show up. So if it translates to stateside, say next year in Chicago or Boston or whatever, they have the same atmosphere that they had in Australia, then you say, oh, they got something. This is you can take this wherever and it's going to explode and people are going to show up and they're going to love it. If it doesn't end up being that way, I think you start looking at the reasons why, and it's because professional golf rarely goes to Australia.
Yeah, I definitely agree that's a huge part of it. But what's to say that if they don't, if they do half their events in the future, they do 3/4 of them there, then they've got a pretty damn good looking professional league. And I would say too, it's like we've been to some PGA Tour events where there's a very scarce amount of fans out there, right? So we've been to plenty of stateside PGA Tour events that's like not particularly electric at all. So I think, I was impressed.
There's
I was
certainly
pretty
an
impressed.
opportunity for LIV to become huge internationally. Like that, I think even the PGA Tour would admit that they've dropped the ball on all of that.
They're in a tough spot because all their sponsors are like want their events in America, and they're who pay for it. They don't have Saudi people who say take this where you need to take it.
Right.
How homesick is Thomas Peters right now? Being in Australia all week, he's got to go to
long
Singapore.
way, man.
Who's he getting dinner with? Should we text him?
I'm just
ask him
saying,
who he's
like,
The
getting
Range
dinner with?
Goats almost won. The Range Goats almost won,
But
dude.
these,
It was a
not
big
even
week.
to make a joke about it, but the guy was like, I hated the PGA Tour because I had to like sit in Orlando all the time. It's like, all
You might have
right.
friends on the LIV Tour.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe
Just
some
made me
friends.
laugh where I'm looking at their circuit and they're just flying all around the globe now. Holy shit.
They're in Singapore right now. Look at that. So golf's huge. Is golf huge in Singapore too, Dan?
Like not on Australia levels. There was a PGA Tour event that no one really went to when it was there.
I guess what I'm trying to get to is where else could they do this? Like Japan, we heard when Hideki won the Masters, right? It was all we heard about was how big this is. Golf's massive.
Crazy when Tiger was there.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I'm looking at their schedule.
South
I don't
Africa,
see Japan. They got to go to Japan.
Africa.
Let's get Greg Norman. Bush, can you get Greg Norman? I want to ask him why they're not going to Japan. I feel like if they went to Tokyo.
Yeah, I got you. One
We
second.
could get Greg Norman for sure.
Singapore has that sick fucking hotel that was in Crazy Rich Asians, right?
Amazing. Yep. I want to go to Singapore because of that movie.
Electric place.
No, they should just any place where golf fans around the world feel like the PGA Tour is not, they're just not paying them any mind or paying them any attention. That is 100% where LIV should go every time.
Is there anything stopping them, Dan, from becoming like 50 or 75% Australian tour? I mean, it's not like there aren't, right? Like there are, baseball players who are from different countries who live in the United States all season and play in the United States because that's for them like the best place to play. They could. So I know the biggest argument would be like, how are you going to get fucking Dustin Johnson and Brooks Koepka?
Right.
Well, you signed into a contract, you paid him $200 million. You're like, guess what? For 6 straight weeks or 8 straight weeks, like we're in Australia. That's just where we're at.
Yeah, the contracts expire. So, a lot of them after this year, some after next year. So it would have to be a new deal. There was already some pushback when they added 4 events because these guys signed contracts for 10 events. That was the contract. And now they're playing 14 events. And a lot of these guys, like you said, Riggs, these, people complain. And if they complain in one place, they're going to complain in another place. I think you had, an 8-week stretch in Australia, the Brooks Koepkas, the Bryson DeChambeau, they'd be like, whoa, this is not what I signed up for. And then you have problem attracting young American talent who maybe don't want to spend all that time in Australia. So that would be, but if you did it like F1 where they go all around the world, that's what they should do. There should be an event in Rome. There should be an event in Paris. There should be an event in Tokyo. There should be an event in Australia. Go to these iconic cities where maybe it's not a crazy golf culture, but there's so many people in Paris and so many people, people are going to show up and just go to these iconic cities where the PGA Tour doesn't go.
This is a show about a sport, a game called golf. It's fun to go. It's fun to play. It's fun to be in an event. We put on our own events. If you want to go to an event, which is pretty much what life is all about, there's one ticketing partner that is exclusive to Barstool Sports that you should use. They do it better than anybody else. A couple taps, bang, you're going to get the lowest price. You're going to get the best deal. That's Game Time, fellas.
Got to get tickets. And you got to go on some sort of website. You might as well use Game Time. They're proving and they're demanding and they're guaranteeing that they will be the best, the cheapest last minute ticket that you will find on the market. And they're true. Everyone that I know and love has used it. They've been asking me for the promo code. I think it's Fore, F-O-R-E. And that's what they've been doing. And they've been getting money off their first purchase. And it's been great. $20 off. It just comes right off at the end of the when it's in the cart. You see that minus 20 and it feels great. What were you gonna say, Dan?
No, I was just gonna say last week I wanted to go watch the Mets because Frank had my brain in an absolute pretzel.
That's
and they were
right.
in town playing the Dodgers, and Game Time hooked it up. What a great company. Love them very much.
Download the Game Time app. Go to the website, enter your email, redeem code FORE, like Frankie said earlier, FORE, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. The purchase process takes just 2 taps and 10 seconds. Once you buy your tickets, they're delivered directly to your phone. No printer needed. The app also allows you to easily share tickets with friends via text so you can get into the game seamlessly. Skip the hassle. Enjoy the moment. Use that redeem code FORE and download the Game Time app today.
These contracts are about to expire?
Yeah, a lot of them are 2 years or 3 years.
That's very
What the fuck are those guys going to do then, right?
I mean,
Right.
you know, some of the bigger ones, like for the captains and stuff, are like, you know, up to 5 years because they also have ownership stake in the teams themselves, so they're kind of like more bought in. But yeah, no, you know, there's going to be contracts definitely end after this year, 100%.
That's very interesting to me because, you know, from what I'm seeing thus far, it doesn't sound like Mr. Monahan and Mr. McIlroy and Mr. Woods are going to be particularly eager to allow these folks back. And so the LIV's going to kind of have them by the balls, right? Be like, well, I mean, we're going to re-sign you, but if you don't want to re-sign, I mean, is it going to be like when you transfer and you have to take a year off from professional guy? What are people going to do?
They're going to need to have a policy, which they don't have, because it's inevitable. Someone is going to want to come back. And, you know, we had Fitz on our show saying, I'm not going to want them back. And there are definitely PGA Tour pros who will be very, very bitter that these guys...
Tour won't have to have a policy, though. Tour's not forced to have a policy. Their policy's current, right? It's like, yeah, you're just not allowed back. Isn't that their policy?
Yeah, I'm saying, what happens to these guys' cards? Like, what, you know, a guy like Brooks Koepka, who's not a lifetime member, but has won all these tournaments and was, you know, does he have to like go back to Q school? Does he get his status back? Like, I mean, a guy like DJ is a little different because he's a lifetime member, same as Phil Mickelson, but someone like,
but aren't they
Taylor
currently
Gooch
listed as banned? Aren't they just banned?
Yeah, but it's for 1 year, really. It's like, as of right now, it's like, maybe that's for that there is a policy on the books. I think it's for non-members, but it might be for members too, that as of right now, it's like you're suspended for 1 year after your last event, after your last start in a non-sponsored event.
Okay.
But I think that might be for non-members. They need a policy that's like, there has to be some way back, right? Do we all agree? Like, there's no way that they could just ban these guys for life. You think? Yeah.
Yep. Well, how do you deter people from going there if you're going to allow them back? That is the whole point. The tax is not a bad
legit.
Idea. I could understand, but if you're going to be able to tell people like, okay, you got your $200 million, you were gone for 2 years, and then now you're just back in the same place that Will Zalatoris and Rory McIlroy are in, but those guys didn't get to get a $200 million payday. Like, how can you justify that? You can't. And how can you stop people then? If, you know, some of the guys, Cam Young, who's been rumored, or Patrick Cantlay, or Xander Schauffele, if they see this pathway now and they go, well, fuck, I've been turning down $100 million. Now I'm going to take that $100 million. I'm going to go play for 2 years. I'm going to have to go to Australia, but whatever.
That's what I think a guy like, that's what I think was the calculus for a guy like Joaquin Niemann. I think a guy like him, and I don't know this for a fact, I think their agents were probably telling them there's no fucking chance they're going to ban you for life. That would never hold up in court. They're not going to do it. Let's try this. You're 23 years old, 24 years old. If it doesn't work in a couple of years, we'll be back to the PGA Tour. And I think that a lot of people, they wouldn't say it publicly, but I think a lot of people think that is probably going to be an option. This thing will fold or it won't, and I'll have a chance to go back or it won't.
It becomes, because like we spoke about, we used the Borelli's restaurant example of if somebody just builds a shop right next door and pays all your employees $1 million a year, how could you then sustain your business? You pretty much couldn't. And the only way the tour could try to do it was to be like, we're going to ban you if you go there. And if that doesn't even hold up, then there's really no reason or no way to stop people from going there.
Remember when we used that example and then Bryson the next week?
Wait, I was going to say, was that pre or post Bryson pizza?
Pre-Bryson. Bryson's like,
he definitely
Bryson's like,
he definitely listened. Where else did you get that example from?
That clip like went crazy, and then he was like, you know, if I open up a pizzeria and the pizza was just better and and it was like nicer, people would just go there. I'm not going to apologize for having better pizza.
At least turn it into like a tire shop or something.
He was taking shots at Borelli's, it sounds like.
Yeah, he was.
Or he was just like, I'm going to parrot this because that seems like a decent argument.
Yeah.
I don't know what I thought I had heard or read the word indefinitely thrown around when they told these guys to go the other way. So, but again, how does that hold up in court? I don't know how this.
And that's
all
the other thing is that Jay Monahan is just nowhere to be found throughout this whole thing. You know, it's like he just doesn't talk, so no one really knows. I mean, the guy, he still hasn't told the play. I was talking to a couple of players this week, and he still hasn't told them what the deal is with Rory. And a lot of them are like, "What's the deal with Rory?" Because they want to know. if he's still going to get his money, maybe I don't want to play all the designated events, but he's just not telling anyone. And I think that's one of the issues. And I think Ricky Fowler was saying this to Sports Illustrated earlier, is like, we need more transparency as to what's going on everywhere, because there's a lot of changes and no one exactly knows what the rules are.
I get into that mode sometimes too, though, when I don't want to talk to anybody. There's big decisions to be made, and I just don't want to make them. I just start ignoring it. Now, I'm not the commissioner of the PGA Tour, but I get what Jay's coming from on that one. Just like,
I've got that with my lease coming up. I'm just not answering any of the emails. They're like, you got to bring that thing back in. Did you get an oil change recently? It's like,
they're like,
we had that with
Jay, what's the rule with the LIV guys? He's like, I didn't see the email.
He needs to go on, like, we need a. Honestly, this situation has gotten so crazy that, I mean, he should come on Foreplay, but like, the whole world knows, the whole sports world knows enough about this for it to be interesting enough for him to go on like 60 Minutes and sit down and like do a legit
100%.
like 8 p.m. Thursday night sit down with Jay Monahan about the future of golf in like the world. And I think that would be a fucking massive moment for the sport, and he won't do it. I don't know.
Instead, he just sits in the press conference with like bullet points in front of him, in front of the golf media.
I don't know that he has enough cards in his in his hand.
He doesn't have answers.
Who's the guy, the actor that plays basically like Elon Musk in Don't Look Up? You know that?
Oh yeah. I don't know who that actor's name is.
White-haired guy in that. Monahan reminds me of that guy who's like always just like robotic and like, well, we're going to do it this way and this is going to be. And then there's when you grill him on like how, and then he just gets on a spaceship and leaves Earth and is like, yeah, it didn't work out. That's like, Monahan reminds me of that guy. But in the same vein that I said, and we talked a lot about on the show about like these people that went to LIV, a lot of them are complainers and they always have an issue with that. It's you are who you are. You're always going to be who you are. What Larry Fitz said to Frankie when he beat him in pickleball. It's the same exact way with the PGA Tour, where it's like a year ago, we were pretty harsh on the PGA Tour and the issues, and it's not transparent and all that. And those things are all coming back up too, where it's like, oh yeah, we're remembering that we don't love everything about the PGA Tour. And we think a lot of what the PGA Tour does and how they handle things is infuriating and it doesn't make any sense. And this is exactly what they're doing right now. Like you just said, with the Rory stuff, with like not making great decisions, not going to all the cities. Why are they allowing them to just go and dominate Australia? How is the tour not ahead on that? Like all the different things that it's starting to be like, okay, it's not just tour versus LIV and like one side's good and one side's bad. It's starting to get a little muddier now.
Totally. And it's like, imagine another sport, like imagine if basketball, if there was a huge ruling involving LeBron James and no one exactly knew what was going on. And I mean, Adam Silver would do a press conference and he would just explain to everybody what's happening. 100%. It's just, there's so many question marks. And then like whenever the PGA Tour will come up with an announcement, and then you'll ask for details and they're like, oh, we're still figuring it out. It's like, well, then why'd you make the fucking announcement in the first place?
Yeah.
They don't have any idea what the schedule is going to be like next year still. It's crazy.
Huh. It's also, I mean, it infuriates me. Like when we were going to the Players Championship, and I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna, or for two different instances. One when we actually went to the Players, and one when we went down there to film with Billy Horschel. And I was like, oh, we'd love to just get the commissioner on the show while we're there. He lives there, he works there. We'll just get him on the show. I'm like, well, we're gonna need more notice. I'm like, it's a week before. He has a week, and to me, that's like Dana White is literally doing fucking my mom's basement with Robbie Fox all the time. And like, he doesn't need weeks of notice. If he's like, yeah, I can, like, I'm confident in everything that we're doing. I can just speak with someone about whatever they want to know about the league. I'm the commissioner of it, or I own it, I run it, whatever. And it's like, how can you not just sit down? And that's because I think, he's got to have the makeup on. He's got to have the hair gel in. He's got to have the talking point. And that just, I think that turns people off, man. Well, like,
it does.
Why can't you just sit down and fucking talk about it?
I dealt with this in my old job, and it's just like bloat. It's just like things just take way too long when there's no one there's no urgency. There's no like someone who's like, yeah, that's a good idea. I'm just going to do it. Everything needs to go through its channels, and it's got to get approval from this person. Ugh. And that's what I'm saying. But that's how companies work.
You also got to think that when Jay Monahan took this job, and I'm not saying that this is the reason why he's not addressing the press, was just like, I'm going to run the PGA Tour, and this is going to be the easiest shit ever. Like, I don't have
to. the member, I'm good to go.
Just kind of, just kind of steer the ship, and
like, everything's great.
Put out little fires, and then this, this Greg Norman league pops out of nowhere, and it's like, this is a tough job now. This is a really tough job now.
Yeah, it's weird, man. It's not a great look. I agree with you. It's just not a great look. And at the same time that you got LIV has a little bit of momentum. It's funny, man. We talked at the beginning of the year. I remember we were all kind of like, we were coming off the Phoenix Open. That was right off the Riviera, and Riviera Tiger was looking pretty good. Phoenix Open's great. Like, and we all were just like, dude, LIV is dead. We haven't heard from them in 6 or 8 months. That LIV thing, I can't believe, are people still doing that? Are they even going to be at majors? What's going on in the world rankings? And then the tides kind of shift a little
The
bit.
Masters,
it's like,
man. The Masters
yeah,
was so
not
huge.
saying the tour's like bad or whatever, but it's like they've got a couple events going on that the fields are a little bit weak. You had LIV guys played well on the Masters, then they went to Australia and they looked pretty goddamn successful down there. And it's just the pendulum kind of swings public opinion a little bit. It's interesting.
We're like one step away. I mean, I don't know how long LIV's going to be able to if they're going to want to keep paying for it, because again, all this conversation about momentum is a different conversation than money, and they are still hemorrhaging money. But we're one step away from this. There just being like 2 tours that do and that step is the majors providing a pathway for LIV golfers. That's not either they get world ranking points or they say, oh, the top 10 guys on LIV get into the Masters or gets into the majors, just like they do with the Tour Championship. If that happens, then it's just like, oh, there's LIV guys and there's PGA Tour guys, and we're gonna have less conversations of like, what does this mean? What does this mean? Because it's just gonna be like, this is what it is. This is what's happening.
Yeah. Speaking of hemorrhaging money and not being able to sustain, did you guys see Bed Bath & Beyond gone?
Hey, what's going on with them?
Wow, colleges everywhere.
Filed for bankruptcy, man. They're just done.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't know that they tried to claim they're not going to be shutting all their stores, but they filed for bankruptcy. I saw another one in a different realm, BuzzFeed News, gone. I saw there's just quite a few shakeups. So you got to think we could be having one of these conversations about like, yeah, it's a good week, and then the next week LIV might be like, we're out of money, it's over.
I got to tell you that's devastating news, because for the Bed Bath & Beyond thing, because I would always buy last minute presents from Bed Bath & Beyond for like Christmas and stuff. They've got everything, right? That's they've just got a little bit of everything, and we would do these exchanges during Christmas time, and I would just go there and walk around like on December 24th and buy a couple of candles and an air fryer and be like, I'm good. So that's devastating for guys like me who do last minute shopping, I will say.
I'm enjoying, now that I'm a homeowner, I'm enjoying like going to places like that. I never thought I would. I go to like a Home Goods or a fucking Hobby Lobby and
or Will Ferrell in old school.
Yeah, it's great.
Exactly.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's perfect. He's Frank the Tank too.
He is.
Yeah, no, that's
Tank.
That's exactly what I'm loving right now. Yeah.
What are you doing out here, Frank?
Yeah. Everyone just keep our composure.
Oh, by the way, and I don't think you guys talked about it. I wasn't on the show last week because we were all in different places, but I called the Will Ferrell LIV PGA Tour parody show. So I don't know who needs to get in contact with me, whose people need to talk to who, but that was my idea, and we have it, and we have the clip, and I have the tweets. That's my idea.
You said Will Ferrell would star in a movie about LIV versus the PGA Tour. It's perfect. The script's already been written, and 7 months later, they announced that Will Ferrell is going to be leading. I don't
think it was 7 months. I think it was
he
more
did
like
it
2 months.
Like October?
Was it that long ago?
It was. I think I tweeted it in July July, and I said it on the podcast in October, but it was definitely a while ago.
Yeah. And now he's going to do a series based off of the fucking LIV versus PGA Tour scandal. That's unbelievable.
And they said that it's going to be in the same tone as Talladega Nights. And I mean, it's
literally in my tweet, I said he needs to play a Ricky Bobby type character.
He is. He's going to be Ricky Bobby meets Phil Mickelson, and it's going to be fucking unbelievable.
Will Ferrell read what you said, and he's like, "This sounds a fucking good idea."
Because it is. It's not only is it a good idea, it's easy, dude. This whole LIV thing, regardless of how you feel about it, it's ripe for parody. The whole thing is ripe for parody, and that is, dude, Will Ferrell, Blades of Glory, Talladega Nights, semi-pro.
It's perfect.
Dude, it's perfect for it, and they're doing it. So yeah, again, somebody contact me. I just need like an executive producer tag in the credits is all I want.
Some special thanks, a hat tip.
Special thanks. Maybe put me in the background. This is a golf show. It's going to be a golf show that they're doing. Just put me in the background. It's, I'm not the greatest
one of those
negotiator.
Thanks, like when they thank the towns for letting them like film in their town, like thank you to, and then
I want like a dramatic thank you right after it was, so it's almost like you died, and they're like thanks to Trent Ryan
in memory of
something. Yeah. Again, I'm not the greatest negotiator in the world. I'll take pretty much anything, but just some sort of like, this guy had a great idea and we're going to use it.
How many millions of rounds are played in Myrtle Beach?
It's got to be so
I
many.
believe per year. The answer to that, me and Frankie spoke about this in the last show. The answer to that is 3 million rounds per year are played at Myrtle Beach.
And I'm saying that's a logistical nightmare.
million.
Think about getting yourself up to 3 million when like you the playgolfmyrtlebeach.com, they're sitting there being like, we got 3 million of these things coming through our system.
Right.
here.
When the new year rings in, it starts over. 3 million more.
That's how good this golf is
Right.
down here. That's how good is that. And you would never even know it. You got 3 million rounds of golf. There's so many golf courses,
So many.
and they are so well run, and they are so pristine, and just the living situations and the fun and the eating and the drinking and all of that is so worth it.
Like
to
all
have,
those things.
to go to a place that has 3 million rounds of golf in a year, you'd be like, that sounds like a nightmare. Nope, absolutely not. It is so good.
They've also got Caledonia Golf and Fish Club and True Blue Golf Club. They're Myrtle Beach's highest ranked golf courses, and they are must plays. Both are ranked among America's top 100 courses you could play. They're located right across the street from each other, basically. They're designed by Mike Strantz, Tobacco Road, Caledonia, True Blue, fantastic. So go on over to CaledoniaGolfVacations.com after your round at True Blue and Caledonia. Grab a beer with your buddies, hang out on the back decks, maybe make a wager or two on the groups that are finishing up their rounds behind you. It's as good as it gets. You don't get a better value in travel golf than Myrtle Beach. So visit CaledoniaGolfVacations.com to book your tee times, plan a stay and play package, and to get more information about 2 of America's top 100 golf courses.
I have an issue with sports and stats that I'd like to bring up to you guys.
Okay.
Okay.
It may be somewhat controversial, but in the sports world. But do you guys find it insane that playoff stats are not included in a guy's career stats? So you talk about a guy. Let's talk about hockey. You talk about a guy. He celebrated his 1,000th game, and they give him a fucking silver stick, and they bring it out there. And then you look. And then you're like in the middle of the playoffs, like I am right now, and I'm watching like Brock Nelson fucking grinding his way up and down the fucking ice, and he's hitting pucks off guys' faces and basically hitting doubles down the line into the net. And like when you talk about games played, like they really don't even count that. Like it's in a separate playoff category that is in like it's on a dusty bookshelf that no one ever fucking talks about. And then they'll celebrate his like regular season games played. But I would argue that like all of those regular season games played are all meant for this moment. Like it's all for the playoffs and to win a Stanley Cup and to win a championship. And they just kind of toss it to the side and they're like, no, that's just like another thing that you'll be compared to guys that made the playoffs also. I'm going to get this all out there before you guys give your take. I see the other side where it's like you need a standard. You need a control.
I'm going to go pee.
To be able
Keep talking. I'm listening. I got my headphones in. Keep talking.
You need a control to base like one career over the next. And to that, I would say I call bullshit because like when do we ever truly have a perfect like here like A and A1 or A1 and A2 1A 1B careers where you could say like they both played the same amount, they had the same opportunities, like what's to say that like a guy like Leon Draisaitl on the Edmonton Oilers isn't having a better opportunity to pad his stats for the rest of his career because he plays with Connor McDavid. I'm throwing a lot of names at you right now, but
those two guys I watched the game last night.
But like, why is that not supposed to be not fair to the guy that played on the Arizona Coyotes his whole entire career? You know what I mean? And like, I get that you can't say that the guy that made the playoffs every year because his team made it should have an advantage of padding his stats and getting into the Hall of Fame because he was on a all-star on a better team and he made the playoffs more. But to that, I say bullshit. It's luck of the draw. It's like
them being good is probably in some part because he's good. The players make up
like
the
your
team.
careir's like your career. If you didn't make the playoffs your entire career, like that's fucking your fault.
So you think they should count total goals, including playoff goals, including?
The one that really drives me crazy is games played.
Well, games played, I think is super
find
different
that to be insane.
Well, that's disingenuous.
It's an NHL game.
Yeah, it's a game, and that's
what
what
they
they
say.
say.
The games that you're talking about are far more important and more taxing than the ones that they're comparing.
And it's about
100%.
being healthy. It's about like staying healthy. It's about like actually playing the games. And then here's my last point: is like if you're going to tell me that it's not fair to include playoff stats against another player that doesn't make the playoffs, to that I say bullshit because the team that went further then has less of an advantage of playing well at the start of the next season because they were fucking grinding for 3-4 months and they were doing things well. They were playing playoff hockey and breaking their ankles. And what if a guy like missed the regular season the next year because he gets hurt in the fucking playoffs? Like, is that not fair? Now all of a sudden he's missing games played for his career and goals for his career because he gave it everything he had to the playoffs. I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me. And it's almost something that I want to really fight to the death where it's like, dude, Wayne Gretzky would have we could look it up. He would have 200 or 300 more goals in his career because of the fucking playoffs. And it's just like, you're not going to count that. We're going to talk playoff stats one day. Come on.
They do this in college sports, right? Bowl games and all that stuff counts for everything.
Counts. That's right.
It all just counts.
I don't know.
It's not unprecedented.
Yeah, I completely agree. It would be one thing if they split it into categories and we talked about playoff stats, but nobody talks about playoff stats.
Nobody does.
Yeah, so I completely and scoring goals in the playoffs that's what the fucking sport is about. So I agree with you. I completely, and I think for baseball too, I think everything should count. It's the season, and if you make it to the playoffs, that's your reward. Is making you made it to the playoffs. Good, you're a better team.
Guess how many people you have to go down to in total points leaders in NHL history before you get to an American?
15.
Wait, how many points?
That's a Frankie question.
How many? What number in the rankings?
Get involved, Dan. Let's do it. 15.
You just said something.
Yeah, dude. Why not?
God.
I'll say 7.
7?
25.
Wow. That's insane.
So who's the best American player ever?
And that according to that list.
Brett Hall on this list has
he's not top 20 in points.
He has the most points of any American with 1,391. He's 25th. Mike Modano's 26th.
Where's Patrick Kane?
1,374. Patrick Kane has 1,237. It says he's 41st.
Are they all Canadian? What is it? All Canadians or is it also
all Canadians?
Dude,
it's
it's Wayne Gretzky and then Jaromir Jagr, who's Czech Republic, and then literally all Canadians until you get to Ovechkin. Who's 6? Who's
I want to hear your take on this, Riggs, on the playoff stuff.
I think you're 100% right. I agree with everything you said. I can't even fathom why that wouldn't. And I think all the justifications that people probably use that you brought up are completely meaningless to me. It's not fit. Like
the control thing means nothing
sense
to me because it's like they're like, well, you need something. Like, you're not allowed to compare a guy's career based off of like how his team went. But like in a team sport,
it happens anyway.
Like why are you able to just draw the line? Like that's what I mean. Like if a guy just gets a bad draw and gets drafted by a team that never makes it out of the bottom 5 teams in the league and they get fucking dumped on his entire career, but he was a fucking highly skilled player that on another high-powered offense, if he would have went to the Toronto Maple Leafs or played with Ovechkin his entire career, he would have been a Hall of Famer. But because he was on the Arizona Coyotes, he sucked or didn't show up on the stats. Like that's just a bad luck of the draw. Why do we draw the line there? Like, why do we say that's acceptable to compare careers, but we don't say, oh, this guy made the playoffs every 10 years or every year for the 10 years, and he was just a compiler of stats. That's just how sports work. There's compiler of stats all the time.
I would also say, like, part of it might be you want to separate the playoff stats because you want to see who's able to perform in the playoffs and who's not. It's the same with the regular season, but you could
do that.
Right, you could still do that. Even if you combine them all, you could still separate out. Here's how he does in the playoffs. Here's how he does in the regular season. But here is how he does overall.
And I'm still all for like regular season. Like I'm not saying to get rid of like
regular season
leaders,
awards.
regular season. All the awards are that's 100%. I'm saying at the end of a guy's career, it just drives me a little bit crazy when we have to like do the addition on our own. When you go to like hockeyreference.com, you got to like see exactly how many all-time points Wayne Gretzky had because you have to combine his all-time regular season points
down to is you don't want to do a little math.
Yeah, but I think that's bullshit. His career was his career.
I agree.
He won fucking 4 cups. His career is his career.
But you kind of end up doing it anyway. Like, I know what you're saying, but the records is actually a good point for season to season where like the home run record, obviously you're going to have to keep that just the regular season. Then you can't count postseason ones.
Right.
But you end up doing all the work anyway. So you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm saying season by season, it's fine. I'm not fucking trying to change sports. I'm just saying when a guy's career is said and done, how are we not including like the biggest moments that he had in his career stats?
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's always just been something that like I just can't get behind. And it feels like I'm dirty saying it. I've wrote it in a couple group chats, and I've been kicked out. I've been kicked out of the group chats. They're like, you're a fucking idiot. Whenever I bring up that comparison of like one guy playing with a better player than the other, they're like, that's just fucking stupid because like that's just sports. And I'm like, well, it's just sports if one guy makes the playoffs and another guy doesn't. Fuck you.
But I also would say, like, every time I look at if I look at points, right? Like I'm looking at the points list right now in NHL, and it says games played. I always factor in games played, whether they're playoffs or not. So that number, if the guy's points go up, the games played are going to go up, right? So like when I'm looking at, like, it doesn't matter to me. So when I'm looking at this, like Wayne Gretzky games played, 1487. He's number one. He's got 2,857 points. Jaromir Jagr's number two. He's got almost 300 more games played, and he has almost 1,000 less points. So I like factor that into my brain of like, wow, Gretzky's even more impressive there. But that's the only thing that would change. So if like they're going to change together, it's not like they're going to just add the points and not add games played. So like, what's the difference?
The games played one is particularly offensive because you're right. Like LeBron James has 1,421 career games played. But that doesn't include 270 playoff games. It's 3.5.
And you're telling me that doesn't affect his next season?
Of course it does.
Like so then that's at nuts. That point, like his career stats are actually getting affected by making the playoffs. And then if that's the case, you have to include it.
Yeah,
you have to include it. The first 3 weeks of the next season, he's going to be like a shell of himself because he just played basically half a season in the playoffs.
Who's the real scoring champ? Is it him or Kareem when you put all that shit together? You know what I mean?
It's too much math. That's the problem.
Put it all together.
Too much math.
Yes, it's way too much math.
Much math.
Yeah.
Just too much math.
I really am going to be interested to see what the reaction to this is. They're going to call me fucking stupid. They're going to say that they don't want to talk about sports
They're stupid.
anymore.
I talked about that at the beginning of the show. That like, they're the stupid ones.
Listen to me with just like an open heart, just be open about it when I'm just really think about what I'm saying.
Unfortunately for you, people are going to be going crazy over my hockey place. They're probably
it's about the career, man. It's their career. I'm not saying to change season standings and season stats. I'm saying when we're comparing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and we're comparing LeBron James, how many points did they actually score? Because I'll tell you what, majority of fans, they only care about this.
Thoughts on this?
They only care about this. They only care about these moments right now.
He's kind of a nerd and like numbers, stats.
No, I totally agree. I was looking it up. I think Gretzky has like 380 points in the playoffs alone.
380
points. That's just not included.
Yeah,
that's more than Matt Martin has. I mean, that's a fucking shot at Matt Martin. I think that's more than like Matt Martin has his entire career.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Like that's crazy.
And those games are harder and more taxing, and there's less goals scored, like statistically. So I'm with you. In a rare case, Frankie, you brought up a very animated point. We're all with you.
5 for 5. That might be a record.
I'm going through right now what Frankie's talking about. I'm trying to figure out who the scoring champ in the NBA is, and I'm just
it's
all
LeBron.
over these.
I just looked it up. It's
carry
LeBron.
The one, you got to carry the one.
Yeah.
Wait, how did you do that so fast?
I just searched scoring champ, including playoffs, and there's
what's the way
not to do another double ricochet shot at Matt Martin because I fucking love Matt Martin. I love his wife. I love everything about his family. Gretzky doubled him up in the playoffs in his career. Doubled. So that's what I mean. Like at the end of the day, this guy needs some fucking Wayne Gretzky needs to have those tallied at the end, man. Now I wonder how many points did fucking Ovechkin have in the playoffs? Is Ovechkin actually closer, or does Gretzky's playoffs just absolutely put Ovechkin out of the fucking?
No,
he blows him out of the
Ovechkin's
fucking
going
water.
To be closer. There's no way Ovechkin's going to be closer.
No.
I mean, Gretzky won 4 cups.
Now that we talk about it, it's crazy that we have to do this. It's crazy that we have to add up LeBron's regular season points and his playoff points. They're all just points.
Trent, making the playoffs and winning championships is what sports is
literally
about.
The incentive.
Right. We're eliminating the most important part of the year.
And like people might say, oh, there's a separate stat for that. He's the greatest postseason player of all time. Derek Jeter had like different stats in the postseason than he did regular season. And to that, I would say you can still split them up. Yeah. And MLB has a great website where they have all these splits. How does a guy do at night? How does a guy do during the day? How does he do against
Cam
gray
Young
jersey?
now. We're like directing people to MLB website.
Yes, like they have a great MLB website's great, and so is the NHL website, and they're both
so is the
run by
NBA. They're all the same.
No, I think
Everyone
MLB
on
and
the
NHL
PGA
are
Tour's
owned by the
website,
same
which
company.
Their app
Isn't it
absolutely
BAMTech?
sucks cock.
Isn't it? I think it's MLB BAMTech.
Oh,
Bad
I was
boys.
thinking just like
MLB
basketball
does
stats.
Not there's
MLB's
anything wrong with
website
that.
and the NHL stats. The way that they're able to fucking you could lose a month on the internet just absolutely just going through splits. How does Brock Nelson play against a guy who has tape on top of his fucking kneecap as opposed to below? It's crazy. It's crazy.
Do you guys have a favorite sports stat of all time?
Oh man, that's a really
I've got
great
like a famous
First-
favorite
First
factoid.
15 are probably Tiger Woods fans.
Yeah, I was
I've
gonna
got
say,
a pretty good one right now, actually. That's pretty relevant. Dak Prescott's the longest tenured quarterback in the NFL right now with his team. That's a pretty fucking like whoa stat.
Oh wow, that's like that's a new era starting.
That's a pretty crazy like whoa stat. Because Aaron Rodgers is no longer on the Packers. He's on the JETS Jets Up Jets. Thank you, Alex Bush. We've got our man. At the end of the day, Dak Prescott is the number one longest tenured fucking quarterback in the NFL right now. 2016.
I do have probably a favorite sports stat, and it's kind of trivia more than it's stat, but there's one player in NHL history who won the Conn Smythe Trophy for the playoff MVP, and then the following year won Rookie of the Year during the regular season.
I'm sorry. What was that? I was
Give it to me one more time.
So there's only one player in the history of the NHL who won the Conn Smythe Award for best, most valuable player in the playoffs, and then the following season won Rookie of the Year.
So he got called up late in the year and was unbelievable, and then was eligible to win it the next year.
It's like, well, it's obviously not the MVP, but fucking Matt Murray. Remember when he got called up for the Penguins and then he won the cup, and then the next year was his rookie year?
I don't think anybody's going to get it, but
No, who is it?
it's Ken Dryden, who I believe he's goalie, but I believe he was at Cornell, and then they got eliminated, and then he, like everybody does, signed, went to the NHL, and then won the Conn Smythe. So then his following season was his rookie year.
I've got two great stats for you.
I've got one, but you go first.
Okay, number one. No, Trent, you go first. This is your question.
I'll go first. I'll go first. So Stan Musial, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, St. Louis Cardinal, great. He had 3,630 career hits. He had the exact same amount on the home as he did on the road.
Wow.
Split right down the middle. 1,815 hits away and home. It's pretty incredible when you think about a baseball career.
So now I'm going to have three because you just reminded me of a great stat. What's the Tony Gwynn stat of how many walks he had or how many strikeouts he had? Tony Gwynn would never strike out. I'm talking to the point where I think it was like less than 10 or 15 times a year. If you look at this guy's stats, it's out of control. If you look up Tony Gwynn strikeout stats, they're laugh out loud funny. But I'm going to hit you guys with the ones that stick out to me personally. 19 consecutive playoff series won by the 1980 to 1984 Islanders. I don't think that'll ever be done ever again. They won 4 cups in a row, so 4 championships in their league, and then the 5th year they went to the Stanley Cup Finals and lost to Gretzky. So to be a fan of that team and watch what I'm watching right now, which is a playoff series, and I'm living and dying with every single shot and every single goal, and to win 19 of those in a row is fucking crazy.
Yeah,
that will never be done again in professional sports history. I really don't think so.
That's
no team will ever go to the I don't think they will.
That's an out of control. I got 2 Tiger ones.
Can I give you one more real quick?
Sorry about that.
Ken Morrow on that team was on the this is a crazy just life. He was on the Miracle on Ice team in 1980.
No.
Then he gets drafted by the New York Islanders and wins 4 straight Stanley Cups. By the time that guy was like 23 years old, he had won the greatest gold medal of all time, legitimately the craziest fucking sporting event ever, and then went on to win 4 Stanley Cups and went to the 5th Stanley Cup and fucking lost. Talk about a defenseman that had a fucking hell of a the guy didn't know what losing was. Like that 6th year, that 5th year, he's like, what?
Must have been devastating.
He's like, what do you mean?
Fuck?
What do you mean? And they don't even fucking retire the guy's number.
Ken Morrow. I knew I recognized that name. It must be from the movie. I've got 2 Tiger ones. The first one I've said on this podcast before, but if he only played in 2000 and 2001, he would have 17 wins and 4 major championships, which is just out of control.
That's out of control. How many Hall of Fame careers has he had?
I mean,
3, 4?
No, more. I mean, 15 wins and two majors is like a Hall of Fame career. So 6,
easily
7. The other one is, so
Zach
1997, 21-year-old Tiger Woods wins the Masters by 12 shots. It's, it's the coming of age. He's the number. The next year, 22-year-old Tiger Woods finishes tied for 8th. 2 shots behind 58-year-old Jack Nicklaus, who finished tied for 6th that year.
Fuck.
So Jack beat him the next year. It's pretty awesome.
Well,
That's unreal.
Tiger completely tore his swing down and was rebuilding his swing. So let's not.
I like this. I like favorite
This isn't a
sports
Jack Nicklaus
statistics.
podcast.
That'd be good when people can write in their favorite sports statistics. There's a lot of them out there.
There
obviously.
are a lot.
A ton of Tiger ones. Tons.
There's vodka in this? Yes, there is. We're talking about the new Truly Seltzers, vodka seltzers. They got real vodka in there. We were introduced to these puppies, these bad boys, these delicious drinks for the very first time at the Barstool Classic Championship at Greyhawk. December, I guess maybe that was November. So relatively recently. They're game changers. They're delicious. Every single person I know at the Barstool Classic all the last 2 days. I spent a good, 14 hours at Barstool Classics Monday and Tuesday. Everybody's raving. They're grabbing that puppy. They do that thing where they hold it to the side like this and they go, these new Trulies with the real vodka in them, these are game changers. These are delicious. We've had many of them, hopefully responsibly, absolutely responsibly at the Barstool Classic, but they're fantastic. They got low sugar. Every Truly vodka seltzer contains only 2 grams of sugar. They got fewer calories. So all 12-ounce cans have under 110 calories, which means plenty of refreshing flavor. Will not weigh you down. The vodka Trulies boys are they're revolutionary, really.
Game changers. Simple as that.
Such
An
a summer
absolute
drink.
Game changer.
Such a summer drink for summer.
Summertime.
refreshing.
About summertime.
It is. It's coming around.
Basically summertime. It's got a little chill in the air right now. You can still wear a hoodie, but you can feel it's coming. The grass is starting to grow. Everything's green. Colors are popping. A lot of these flower people in my block. They're all they're just planting
Flower
flowers
people.
right now. There's a lot of flower people out here. They're all on their knees and they got all these shovels and they got a lot of soil
Green
in their
thumbs,
hands.
we
They
call
got those
them.
little
Is that what we
shovels.
call them? We're calling them green thumbs.
Green thumbs.
There's
yeah.
there's a lot of green thumbs around here, and I might throw them a couple of Truly vodka
Brother,
seltzers because
You're a
Good idea.
homeowner now. You gotta get your thumb a little green.
I know I got a guy with a green thumb coming here soon. I'm not fucking. I can't. That's the one thing I'll splurge on is not having to fucking use soil and grass.
You can't have the shittiest. You can't have the shittiest lawn in town either.
No.
Find Truly Hard Seltzer with the vodka seltzers. So they're Truly vodka seltzers near you at trulyhardseltzer.com. Go figure out where you could get them. Refreshing go-to. That's perfect for the spring, for the summer. Again, find Truly vodka seltzer near you at trulyhardseltzer.com. We got a couple from the galleries. You guys want to do a couple from the galleries real quick?
Sure.
Foreplay at barstoolsports.com. Send us an email. Title it From the Gallery. If it's good, we'll read it and we'll discuss it on the show. Steven says, why do golf courses that host tournaments annually take the grandstands down? If I'm planning to play TBC Scottsdale, for example, I'd love to have the stands up, get more of a tournament feel. If you get to take batting practice at Fenway, the stadium is part of the experience. Why don't golf courses do the same thing? I actually asked this question as soon as I moved here to Scottsdale, and it's a very interesting answer, and it's taxes. If they were to leave those structures up throughout the entire year, those would technically be deemed permanent structures, and the course or the event or whomever would have to pay property tax on those structures. So instead, it's significantly cheaper for them to incur the cost of just putting them up and taking them down.
That's wild.
Yeah,
Isn't
I knew that.
fucking
'Cause
nuts.
I asked Alistair that, because I saw that they were still up, and I was asking, how long are they up? He's like, they leave them up for a while. It's not like they take them down Monday after. They do it where it's like, I guess like 1 week less than they would have to pay taxes for.
Yeah, I on my stupid brain, I'd never thought about them just keeping them up. They should just keep those up.
Yeah, the one at Phoenix, at least I know that's the case there. The one at the Phoenix Open at TBC, I was told for that reason, and that makes a lot of sense. And I was like, how can't you guys just negotiate like a specific city ordinance for how much revenue this event drives to the city of Scottsdale or whatever to like allow you not to have to pay? But then they're like, that opens a can of worms, and then
True.
everybody starts to reference this one statute whenever they want to get out of not paying property tax, blah, 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 blah. So if the folks that told me this are correct, it's so that they don't have to pay property tax.
I wonder how much that ends up being, because that I mean, because I'm sure they've calculated like the labor of it and how long it takes and yada, 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 to the point where it makes more sense to take them down. But boy, it'd be way easier just to leave them up.
Way easier. Property tax is a bitch.
I think it adds to it though. If I would play in a PGA Tour golf course, I think I would want the grandstands there. I mean, definitely at Scottsdale.
Well, and it makes TBC Scottsdale worth it, right? Like outside, they charge $400 or $500. It's a lot there. People do it for the experience. The course overall, start to finish, is pretty okay compared to a lot of the courses out here. But that experience of having the grandstands and the stadium makes it really, really cool. I mean, I think like 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 are really cool, but the rest of the courses, when you have a stadium up, it's fucking awesome. And so when it's not there, it's clearly a bummer for a lot of people.
Yeah, I guess you could for 16 at TBC Scottsdale, you could literally just build that into a stadium. Just make it a stadium instead of every year ripping it down and whatever. And again, they're going to end up getting taxed on it. But that hole, of all the holes in the world, just build permanent seats there.
Right, throw some concrete down.
Right.
In his 20-year career, Tony Gwynn struck out 434 times. That's an average of 21.7 Ks per season. And for reference, 129 players on average strike out 22 times in the first month of the season.
Right. Yeah. Go look at look at Ryan Howard's strikeouts. 22
strikeouts. The guy gets up 4 times a game.
Dude, that's so like it became in baseball. It became like more beneficial.
That's crazy
to swing and like go after it and strike out. Like they did the math on that where it was even if you strike out, that's fine, but like be swinging at it, be looking for pitches to hit. Like Tony Gwynn, his approach was I'm not going to strike out, and he's one of the greatest hitters ever. So there's different ways to do it, but it became like striking out became the thing. People didn't even care. Like in contract negotiations, I don't think they care if you struck out 200 times a year. It was just like whatever. It changed big time.
And he batted 300. Like it's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like this guy was just swinging at anything.
Too much Tony Gwynn talk. He died of mouth cancer from chewing tobacco, and makes me.
That's true.
Yeah,
I don't like to be a little up.
I don't like talking about Tony
wake
Gwynn
up call there.
I don't like talking about Tony Gwynn all that much.
Yeah.
We lost Frankie
Ryan
again.
Howard, it was like 186, 157, 172, 190. These are seasons of strikeouts.
190.
That's crazy.
190 sounds like a lot.
It's a lot. We lost Frankie again?
Oh, it's the Adam Hayes.
You might have got Adam hazed. Are we just not going to have Frankie's? That'd be a very funny version of the show. No Frankie.
What an all-time moment this would be if at the end of the day, my audio is not on the show because pre-show we talked about how I was not going to record a backup.
Right. For those that weren't there, which no one was there. Except
What are the odds of
we
that?
have it recorded. I think we were recording when you had that conversation.
That'd be very funny.
You're making me nervous.
Yeah, it said I have an unsupported browser, whatever that means.
What are you looking up on that browser?
Oh, you don't want to know?
I actually thought too, like Bush. Have you ever thought of just screen recording the whole thing?
I mean, you could. The quality would be shit.
But I'm saying like Alex Bush as the producer. Have you thought of just screen recording the whole show so that even if the back end of Riverside fucks up, you actually have a recording of it?
But that's why we do the local backup recording, because it's good quality.
But that wouldn't have the video, right?
No, but we haven't run into where the video hasn't come in
yet.
That hasn't been an issue.
Yeah,
we've been doing this for a bit.
But that's what I'm saying.
We need to stop recording right now, and we need to finish this podcast so that I can see if this works. Because I think there's a 99% chance that none of this recorded for me.
That can't.
But if you would screen record it, then you would at least have it. Bush is kind of just like an idea.
I might go to the movies tonight.
What are you going to go see?
You got to calm the mind.
Yeah, I don't know. What's out right now?
I don't know. I'm watching NBA playoffs and they keep running this horror movie ad that I think that should be illegal. I don't think they should be able to run horror movie trailers when I'm not actively engaging in wanting to watch a horror movie trailer.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, you're like watching like a nice fun basketball game and that's
it's like Rise Dead Evil. And I'm like, come on, man. I'm in a scary hotel room. I'm trying to watch the playoffs and now I'm not going to be able to sleep because I think there's demons everywhere. It's not fair.
Oh, I'm gonna maybe I'll go see Air, that movie.
Oh,
Air
I think you can see that.
People say that's great.
Yeah.
Luke from Raleigh, favorite Truly Flavors Wild Berry, asks Frankie, would Frankie rather the Islanders and the Rangers both win one cup in his lifetime, but the Rangers win one before, so Frankie's guaranteed at least a year of having the Rangers win one or not, or neither team wins one in his entire lifetime?
It's a great question, because the obvious answer is the first option, because then I get to like just go on top of them and like, oh, we did it too. What you did wasn't that special, and I get the second one, and now it's like I'm like, no one even remembers your Stanley Cup because it's all mine. I have it here in my hand.
You would never take it if the Rangers won the most recent one.
No,
Right.
no, but
Right.
no. But I don't know that I'd survive that first year. Is the thing
As a human.
Right.
Yeah.
That year would be brutal. And
The
it might
day
be
the
more
Rangers,
than a
if the
year.
Rangers ever win the cup, I'm done.
You got to hope that you're off the internet by then.
Yeah, it's over for me.
But do you even have it in your real life?
Just kind of like, whoop, see you later, boys. It's gone. It's over. You know, I don't have the luxury of just being like, we'll get them next year. Like once my season's over, it's just beginning.
Right, because in this scenario, you obviously don't know that the Islanders are going to win the next one, and that year, you just think that's the rest of your life. You're just like,
Barstool Sportsbook was offering me a cash out after, so the Rangers were up. I put $2,000 on the New York Rangers to win like 26,000
Downside protection.
to win the cup, to win 26 grand,
your
and
happiness.
I hedged my happiness. And then after they were up 2-0, I was offered like $2,900. They were like, take this money because we think they're going to win. And now they're offering me like $400 because it's like, it's 2-2,
2-2.
going back to the Devil, going back to New Jersey. It's amazing. Those switches, man,
Oh,
those
yeah.
cash outs and like the fluctuations on the sports books of like where they think that series is amazing. It's amazing how quickly that changes.
And they know too. They kind of know.
Oh, they know.
They know way more than any of us know.
Elio's fucking on fire too. Oh my God.
Dude, I love Elio.
2 nights in a row for me
Don't
with him. It's just,
Follow Elio. I'm at like 4 or 5 nights or something where he's
Oh
hit
my
winners.
God.
And
oh my God.
And I mean, we've grinded a few. We've had a couple that cashed halfway through the second period. The one was like never going to hit. And then a massive comeback to get to 3-3, force overtime. 3 + 3 = 7. So Elio has just been killing it. If you don't follow Mr. Ice on Twitter, set notifications. He makes a pick pretty much every night. And he picks an over, and they fucking hit, man. His record's crazy. His videos are great. I showed a video to this girl. She's like, what are you doing today? I was like, betting on hockey. And she's like, oh, you bet a lot on hockey? I go, no, I only bet with my guy, Elio. She's like, oh, who's Elio? I sent her the video, and she goes, you bet on this game based just on this video? And it was just Elio going, listen, making the pick, and then just showing his bicep. And I was like, yeah, that's Mr. Ice. And then like 3 days later, she texts me. She's like, are you betting again tonight? I go, yeah. She goes, hasn't he won every time? I go, yeah, that's why we fucking bet with Mr. Elio. The guy wins every fucking time. He's the best.
He's the best. Elio82 on Twitter. Give that guy a follow. He is. He's just in it for. He loves it. He's in it for the love of the game.
He works for Barstool.
I think in some capacity, yeah.
Kind of.
I don't know. I don't know what the paperwork says, but
Dave said that he hired him.
I said, is he working for Barstool?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, Dan,
I think he did.
He is Dave's like closest gambling buddy, and they go to horse races together and stuff
forever.
And he has a family and a job. He owns like what's he own? A pizza joint?
Tony's
He's
place.
just electric on Twitter.
He owns a pizza joint, and then a couple years ago, just, because he's Dave's boy, he gets into content, whatever, and he started like a year ago or whatever, just going with hockey overs and became Mr. Ice. So that's why we don't know if he's actually hired by Barstool or he has like 11 kids and fucking owns this pizza joint and just tweets out videos.
Even employee or not, he's an incredible asset. He's making great merch. He's slinging these bets at everybody. 3 + 3 = 7.
It's
I'm not
the
hockey
smartest merch ever.
Is like the best merch we've put out in a while, and we just put. I mean, up until we put out this PGA Championship merch, because it has a story to it. You have to understand like what it is. Because I didn't know that hockey rule forever, and then I see 3 + 3 = 7, and I'm like, well, listen, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I know that math is not correct. And then you learn like it's going overtime. You're going to get a point. It's fucking, he's so much fun to follow. He really is.
It's fucking great. Barstool Sportsbook, Elio. It's the best. So yeah, we got another big night tonight. This show comes out on Thursday. We got the Mexico Open. There's Jon Rahm, Tony Finau, and then nobody, I believe, playing in this event. Me and Kirk just did the gambling show. I'm big. My biggest play this week, I know we mentioned Barstool Sportsbook. I got Gary Woodland top 5. That's my big play this week. It's plus 500, 5 to 1. Great golf course for him, but you could check out our picks for that. And it's the Mexico Open. So again, we kind of shit on it earlier that it's not the most wild field I've ever seen in my entire life, but PGA Tour is back at it.
Jon Rahm in the field.
Yeah, he's defending his title. Come on, he's an honorable man.
He really is. He's an honorable guy.
Are we gonna just talk about how great Jon? I mean, he's great. He's awesome. He's absolutely awesome. He's having a moment.
We can if you want.
Yeah. I mean, what a guy. I mean, for him to show up at RBC Heritage after Augusta, I mean, just what a guy.
Yeah,
Do you guys have a weird thing, Dan? You and Jon Rahm, because he was like asking. He's like, is he dodging me when he came on our show?
No, you guys told me not to come on.
No, but I didn't know that
I told
there was something on.
I said that.
But I didn't know if there was something that you guys had never gotten into.
No, I like Jon. I feel like Jon and
he said it with like a smile. I'm like, whoa.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I couldn't tell if he was. I couldn't tell if he was just kind of
where's
a
the
fun
other
little
one?
chirp or if there was some history there.
No.
I think he was just fun.
I think it's just chirp. He's like 3 weeks older than me, so we're right to say I get along with him fine. We have the same haircut, so
isn't that the worst? When people like that, Rory's my same age. I'm like 3 weeks older than Rory McIlroy. It's like that's
me and
tough.
Johnny Gaudreau are born on the same day.
There you go.
It's just,
same day.
And things are going all right. We got PGA Championship merch on right now, but Rory's doing great.
Yeah, you're doing good too, though, Trent. You're doing
It's
just
going
fine.
all right, but my dad would probably prefer if I were Rory McIlroy.
Yeah.
My big one, Sidney Crosby. He's born he's 7 months younger than I am, and obviously I was a hockey guy and thought I was the shit. And then there was just Sidney Crosby just came in like Trent's hockey play. He just came flying in. It's like that. Okay,
because it doesn't matter so much now. Like when I see a younger athlete, like when you see like a whoever, like the young phenom, I'm nowhere close to that. I'm 10 years older than these people. Like we don't even know. We don't listen to the same music. We don't know any of the same reference points. But me and Rory, we know. I mean, we saw the same things and just went different ways.
Did you know that 80% of people are not drinking enough water to stay fully hydrated? If you're hanging with the boys on Friday nights, maybe you're playing 18 on Saturday, maybe you're staying up late watching those West Coast games, trying to get a little Mr. Ice, trying to get 3 + 3 = 7, trying to get some LEO love and get that gambling bank account up. Whatever you might be doing, you're going to need to stay hydrated. You're going to need BioLite. That is the IV in a bottle. BioLite is the first physician-formulated rehydration drink to contain the same amount of electrolytes as an IV bag. BioLite has 6.5 times the electrolytes than sports drinks. Could you imagine drinking 6 sugar-free sports drinks before you teed off? You'd be a problem the entire day. That's why we love BioLite, boys.
We got an outrageous BioLite commercial coming your way. I don't know when that's coming out. I don't know. what the plan is. We shot our guy Corey on the branded
fucking strong,
dude. It was a fun day. It was a long day, but yeah, we got a BioLite commercial coming out, and people are I think they're gonna like that one.
Yeah, it's an insane commercial, but it's a great product.
It is.
Honestly, we were drinking BioLite throughout the entire shoot, and it saved us because it was New Orleans. It was hot. You guys were in like sweats, like bodysuits, sweating your freaking tits off.
They had to oil me up and put the bodysuit on. They had to cover my upper half in oil.
Fucking chair that Trent was sitting in. That I honestly think that this little room that Trent and I were in, this little hair and makeup room, was maybe the hardest I've laughed in that short a period of time in my entire life. His chair looked like one of these homes from like Harry Potter that they hold together with magic that's just crumbling. And they have him in this fucking chair. And to Trent's point, it wasn't his fault. The chair looked like that before he sat down. But to the naked eye and those that didn't see things come together via context, it looked like Trent Ryan was just sitting in this poor wooden chair and it was crumbling beneath him.
I was laughing so hard I was trying to clear the record. I was trying to tell them that no, the makeup lady said that the chair was broken before, but it just looked like a fat ass guy sitting in a broken chair. So
it was
BioLite's amazing.
They had to use the jaws of life to get you out of that thing.
Check out their newest flavor over at BioLite Punch, a total sports drink game changer. Get 10% off your first case of BioLite's newest flavor, Punch. Right now, if you visit drinkbiolite.com, use the promo code CLASSIC. They're a big supporter of the Classic, unlike those people online that are brainless. So go to drinkbiolite.com, use the promo code CLASSIC, and get 10% off your first case of BioLite's new flavor, Punch.
What you guys think about Whitney's horrible take of not being able to wear? He doesn't like when people wear jerseys to hockey games. Adults wear jerseys.
Was he saying a jersey of another man, or what about just a team jersey?
Doesn't matter.
He said any jersey. I think he was like just jerseys to hockey games are lame.
Hockey jerseys are great though.
Yeah,
like
they're functional. You need to be warm.
I think if
sweater.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Coming from a ex-player, it just boggles my. And I'm a fucking super fan. He calls me a jock sniffer. At the end of the day, like coming from an ex-player, it's crazy to me that he can't see why like wearing the jersey and being the fan is the thing. Like that's why professional sports, like
that's why you make money.
Like an older man, like rooting on a younger kid and like wearing the name on the back of his jersey is like why sports are sports. That's why he made millions of dollars. Like, or else he'd just be playing at his local rink in Boston and just be really good at it. Like professional sports are at the level that they're at because we all buy in and like it's larger than life and we want to rep the names on our backs. And like, that's why it shouldn't be creepy or weird or like pathetic to wear a jersey to a game. That's what it is. That's what sports is.
You are the first person I thought of when I saw that clip. I was like, Frankie, what adult do I know that wears a jersey every day of like other people? And it was you. But
like the other person is like it's like that's what the entertainment. That's like you can't just say it's like another person. It's like it's the guy on the team. It's like why where does the line being drawn? It's like you spend $500 on tickets to go watch another guy play a sport. Like sick, dude. Like what do you mean? Like where's the line being drawn?
Can't wear the jersey.
Yeah, like you go and take your kids to watch these like kids go play hockey. Like why don't you go spend time with them at home or something? It's like where's the line then? I don't get it. I don't know.
I get what you're saying. He's saying it reaches like a certain age, it starts to get weird. Is that what he's saying?
He's just
I
think
he's just
wearing
like
a jersey.
Wearing jerseys to games is lame. That's what he's saying.
I don't know. What are you supposed to do? Like, I don't know. It's like you
shouldn't cheer either.
You can only be a fan to a certain point, and then you become lame. I don't know, like why
can't scream. You just have to.
Why is one fan less lame than another? I don't get that.
Yeah,
like
that's
you're
fair.
all just you're all there at the arena doing the same shit. It's like you're all kind of in the same boat. I don't know. You're wearing a collared shirt and I'm wearing a jersey, but you're cooler than me. You're still at the same fucking thing, watching the same thing as me.
I'm keeping my Brock Nelson jersey. I'm gonna wear that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't find that to be cool to like. I think it's lame to show up in like a t-shirt.
I feel like Witt wasn't completely committed to that either. He kind of seemed like he knew that was.
He did. I think the end of that clip, he was like, "Am I wrong? Am I wrong?" So I think he might have felt that way too. I will say that when the next World Cup comes around, obviously I'll be rooting for USA, but I did purchase a Leo Messi jersey, Argentina jersey.
Okay,
so I will be wearing a Leo Messi jersey. I love that guy. I fucking love that guy.
Yeah, man.
So,
and like it's just like the guys like they want to see their jerseys being worn. Brock Nelson loves that Trent wears his jersey.
Yeah,
he fucking loves that. Like that's fucking awesome. He's not like that guy's lame.
Yeah, I guess the overall point is when you start trying to police fans and how big of a fan they are, that's when it's kind of like, I don't know. We're all, we enjoy this thing. It's fun. It's
also, jerseys are cool. Hockey jerseys too.
Jerseys are dope.
A big part of the reason I bought the Messi jersey is those Argentina jerseys. Are fucking sick. Like
those are some of the best jerseys ever. Yeah.
Totally. I'm like, I want one of those. I was alive when he won his World Cup and like supplanted himself as maybe the greatest of all time. I'm going to get that fucking jersey. And it's the same like Islanders jerseys, especially a couple of are some of the coolest jerseys in the fucking league. So those are just cool to wear. I think they do a great job with hockey sweaters in general. So yeah, I'm with you. This is another one we're all kind of on the same page today.
Yeah, and I feel like as I started becoming buddies with a couple of the guys, I definitely felt more strange wearing a jersey than like when I was a child. And maybe that's where Whitney's coming from. He's so into it that like once you personally know the guys, it's a little bit different. Because like I'll wear the Brock jersey and I'll go meet the guys after the game, and then Barzell comes out and he's like, "What do you like? Why are you wearing Brock's jersey and not like mine? Like, what do you like? What is that? Like, what is that about? Like, this is insane. Like, you were just wearing one of the guys on my team's jersey." So that was always weird. So maybe Whitney's coming from that place, but there was a time where I did think like, man, this is strange to wear this, because if I do see them, they see me in it. And I can maybe see like where he's coming from on that point. But the general just blanket statement that you're lame if you wear a jersey is fucking crazy. Because not like that's a 1 in a million chance.
Right. No one else
see the guy
has that
after.
experience. Yeah.
You're never going to see the guy after. And even if you did, he'd be like, "Thank you for that." And they'd sign it or whatever.
You're going to have to get like like a split Barzell Brock Nelson jersey.
I need the Browns jersey where it's all the quarterbacks.
Yeah,
The names just go all the way down
there,
to.
I forget who was where, but like there's a connection between AJ Hawk and Brady Quinn. One of them,
someone dated
somebody's
a sister.
dating somebody's sister.
Yeah,
and they played each other, Ohio State and Notre Dame. Yeah, and they she wore a split jersey. You're gonna have to do that with Barzell and Brock Nelson, I guess.
I think the Kelsey mother had that too for the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
it's a thing.
Happy birthday to Justin Mancini. I believe today is Justin Mancini's birthday.
Love that guy.
Big behind the scenes guy. Mancini's great. We've told a lot of Mancini stories on the show. I think I referenced him earlier when I was ranting about the Barstool Classic and the Handicap Police, who are the dumbest people on planet Earth and make us all feel better about ourselves than our brain power. But anyways, happy birthday to Justin Mancini.
You had
Happy
a
birthday
full.
to him.
You opened the show with a full monologue about those people.
Yeah, I was ranting alone in my apartment last night when I was reading some of these fucking tweets, and I was going to just fire back at people, and I was like, instead, I'm just going to use my platform tomorrow morning on the podcast. That was a tame version. I was very upset last night with these people. It's very infuriating when the basis for someone else's
what are you doing, Trent?
issues, Trent, are just stupidity. Like you can't fight against stupidity. You just can't do it. There's no way to win.
I'm with you, and the things you're saying are correct. I just know sometimes Frankie and I sort of spin off the planet when we're worried about like this and that, and people saying that. I'm surprised that you take it that seriously. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I the reason is because I think that I don't like when people go at the integrity of the classic, because I know how much people put effort into that, and then when they're like, the winner, I think, earns it. And when they they try to spin it as like the winner is just a sandbagging scumbag, like in any handicapped event, that infuriates me. So I was very upset last night. Feel better getting it off my shoulders. Yeah. Happy birthday, Justin Mancini.
Happy birthday.
All right. I think we're done here. Mexico, but enjoy that banger of an event. And then next week they're at Charlotte for the Wells Fargo, which is a big event. That's an
I'll be
elevated
there for a
one,
few
right?
days.
Dan
Yeah, I will
Rappaport?
be. Yeah, I'll be there for a few days. That's an elevated event that everyone's going to play in because it's a big, good golf course. 2 weeks before the PGA. That'll be a fun one. I'll be down in Charlotte for a few days.
Buy the merch.
Wow, amazing.
Buy
the merch.
Buy the
Store.barstoolsports.com. Go check out the video. We got our newest, craziest video. It's out right now, right? On the YouTube machine.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You broke your ankle. That's exciting stuff. It's a really
Can't wait
good
to
video.
see that. I haven't seen the edit yet because I want to see it in the context of the video tonight when it comes out.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting. Shout out to all the people in Rochester. Have we done a podcast since we sold that out in 90 seconds?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
We sold out the Rochester Rock City Scramble in like 90 seconds. So that's a 2-man scramble. Kyle Okposo and Matt Molson will be playing in that, two
amazing
Buffalo hockey players and also ex-Islanders. Very excited to see those guys. Fun times ahead. Shout out to the Golf Digest Open and all those people that work hard on that one because we sold ours.
Spots open. Let me check this out.
90 seconds.
Fun fact about Irondequoit.
90 seconds. We didn't even tweet about it.
Fun fact about Irondequoit, where our event is, the Rock City Scramble, it is where Emma's mother grew up. She was a member of that golf course. I had no idea.
Her and Alex Bush.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I said, we're doing an
Alex
event up in
Bush's home
Rochester. And
track.
she said, where? And I said, Irondequoit. And she said, shut up. So she'll probably be there. And
Yeah,
be going
Alex
crazy.
Bush, our guy behind the scenes, is fired up. He's a
Well,
Buffalo
maybe
guy.
you and
He's-
Alex Bush are like somehow related or something.
Yeah, maybe someone banged like it's possible.
Someone in Alex Bush's family, cousin or something, met up with someone at Irondequoit. Somehow you might be at a wedding, like
a rendezvous at
with Alex Bush.
Irondequoit.
That would be
Yeah,
a rare
rendezvous.
Bush W.
Or, yeah, that would be
Compete
a
for
rare
your
Bush-
shot at
Bush.
winning $1,000 and appearing in a Golf Digest.
I'm gonna go
story.
watch the soccer game.
Dan, it's been great, man. It's great to see you, brother.
Is it
Always
still-
good
there's
talk.
still
One of the
spots open?
prizes? That's one of the prizes.
Are there still spots open?
It appears that there are spots open in all 8.
Oh, they're
Golf
doing 8 of
Digest
them.
Stops. Proceed to checkout. Let me see right here. $1,000. Enter email address. Riggs@barstoolsports.com.
You might just end up signing up for this thing.
Yeah, it appears that I could sign up for this thing right now. Participation waiver. I agree.
Our website's like crashed. You can't even fucking get on it.
Welcome new member Riggs@barstoolsports.com.
They're going to see that come through, and they're going to be like, alert, denied.
Yeah. This
Yeah,
was
I
mean.
can. I can register for this. So yeah, it appears that all 8 stops. So if you want, this is a little free promo for the for the GDO. You can go sign up for that bad boy right now to win $1,000, and you get to be in a Golf Digest story. That's great. All right. Well, I think that's a show, boys. Look at that merchandise. That's nice.
Fantastic.
Nice.
B-Cross T, one of the best decisions we've ever made as a brand.
It's a great
fucking
one.
Great. We always looked for like an alternative logo. It's fucking fire. It's so good. It's like it's ours now. It's just like I see it and I know it's our brand. It's amazing how quickly that's come. So shout out to the whole merchandise team, like you said. But the fact that we just turned this into this is awesome.
So a quick little story about the B before I go. I was having a meeting with one of the Augusta media people at Augusta, and one of the servers goes over and goes, "That's such a cool logo. Is that the new Berkman's Place logo?" I go, no, that's Barstool Golf, baby.
Listen, if those two entities want to intermix and intertwine, and we're in the majors game, so it's like we're in the majors game.
Oh, real quick before we get off,
do we have co-branded Masters Barstool Golf gear?
Before or after we do the Colin Morikawa scramble?
Well, I'm gonna have to. It's gonna go to our kin. So if somebody here is gonna have like children, those guys are going to be the ones who broke that.
Let's say we have a chance in the next 5 years. I think we could, like an online thing. You don't think so?
Danny's like, no way. Here's the thing.
They had Dude Perfect with fucking broken lacrosse sticks playing Amen Corner.
They made merch with Niall Horan's name on it.
Here's the thing. And I know that Augusta has more money than God, but at the end of the day, money talks. And that's why we've been able, Waste Management, the players, the Zurich, the PGA Championship, they're not doing this out of the kindness of their hearts. We're all in this for business reasons. So Augusta is in that business as well.
There's someone who works in that merchandise program over there who's got quotas to hit. You know who's going to help you hit those fucking sales quotas right here?
Yeah, but
the boys.
Dude, it's a little bit different because they don't even sell theirs online. So like it would have to be like it would be a monumental moment for them.
Dude.
It would be a monumental moment for them to sell theirs online. And then if they you're saying we would be one of the vendors inside.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
dude,
I'll take that. I thought you meant like sell it online. It's like,
I'll take anything. Give me this. Give me this guy. Where's this guy? Give me this guy with this guy.
Oh my God.
Oh,
done.
Oh my God.
Boys?
That would sell $1 billion. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my
put
God.
it just on the front.
Dude,
Oh my God.
Is that good?
I mean, we've been in contact with our merch team today just about like how this whole thing is going. 2 thumbs up. So like
2 thumbs up. PGA Championship.
If we're looking to do it, everybody's looking to do it. So
It's a huge soccer game right
All
now.
right.
shout out to PGA Championship.
Somebody sent me a bunch of soccer picks today, and I didn't trust them. It was a 4-game parlay. I was like, all right. Okay. That's all I got. We'll be back on Tuesday per usual. Go buy some merch. Go check out the YouTube video. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit hard.
Hit it hard.